All right, all right, all right. I think I am live. Hello, Zen friends. Happy Saturday to you. Hope you're having a great weekend and enjoying the lovely moments. Before we get started into everything, let us bring in some beautiful love energy for ourselves and for the planet. And we'll start off by taking a big deep breath in just to come back to this moment out of the future, out of the past, out of the chaos, out of our fears into this moment. And then we'll bring in the singing ball. I'll hit it 3 times. And each time, if we imagine just this beautiful, eternal, unconditional love energy flowing down into us, filling us up into our mental body, our emotional body, our energetic bodies, physical bodies, just letting it flow out to the world. Let it raise the vibration of the outside world as well. Um, of course, something that we can do to help immediately begin to raise our own vibration is gratitude. So if we think of just one thing that we are grateful for right here, right now in this moment, then that raises our vibration, but it also opens us up. I always look at it kind of like, not always, but as a chalice, because we were really created to receive from Creator. They wanted to know what it felt like to give, and that's part of why we were created anyway. And so they're very much, they don't need anything. They like to give to us. And then we, being little mini creators, want to be able to give to others to know what that feels like to be able to receive, from that as well, give and receiving. So it really puts us in this energy to receive messages from spirit and more of what we're grateful for so we can become this chalice of gratitude. All right, so we will begin here. We'll take a big, deep breath in to come back right here to this moment. And so hold it for as long as you feel comfortable. Please don't pass out on me. Thank you for being here. All right, so we'll start off taking a big, deep breath in. Here we go. Beautiful. All right. And then we have the singing bowl. So let's begin. Beautiful, beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me and doing that. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me just put her back on her shelf here so she can watch over us here. Try not to smack it against the shelf like I did last night. So, hello, everybody. Your cat is curious about the singing bowl. I know they're like, what is that? So thank you so much for joining me and sending this beautiful love energy out to the world as well. So thank you. Welcome, welcome. Um, I before we get started into everything else too, and thank you guys for being here. It's feels like a different day. There was like usually I have like a bunch of comments and people asking for free readings and donations and different things, but there was like no one here until I went live. So thank you guys for being here. Zuni and Kathleen, hello, hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. We'll get to your readings definitely. But I was like, what's happening? And do I have a setting not right? Is something happening? What's going on? Right. So as I was sitting waiting, I was drawn to this blind spot oracle deck. It's an amazing self-awareness deck. I'm so glad that I got it. It has sigils in it, and this is the one I drew, number 62, so you can see all the different symbols and things, everything here. And this is actually denying death. And I thought I would read this here. Gothfest. Ooh, how fun. All the good old days. So I wanted to read this. It's not severely long, but I thought it was just spirit put it on my heart to pull a card to read for all of us. It's called Denying Death, and it says if you've drawn this sigil in this situation, the death of something is actually needed in order to get where you want to go. At first, I was like, "Oh my gosh, is my channel dying?" They're like, "No." There is something you need to let go of. Something needs to end. You are currently unable or refusing to see the value of this ending and the need for it. This sigil is telling you that the time has come for change, transition, endings, and transformation so as to leave the old behind. It is telling you that currently you are in serious resistance to this. And I know I can be stubborn, so this is a good reflection to go, is there something I'm not seeing to that is good for me to let go of? But it says, as people, we are terrified of death and of endings as humans, right? Both our own deaths and that of others. What is even more terrifying is that death happens to everyone. It is the inescapable nature of life. Death comes no matter who you are, how much money or status you have or don't have, where you live, the color of your skin, or your religion. This sigil is telling you that an ending is something that you need to allow, just like death, change, and the endings that come with change are also an inevitable part of life, like death. I'm sorry, like death, change is inevitable, and we all feel as if we are caught in the seas of that change and cannot escape its effects, including losing things we want to cling to. The upheaval of these endings can feel painful and unwanted, and so it's very hard for us to see that they serve us in any way. But you also know what it's like to look back at the ending of something that you once thought was the end of your life, only to realize that now, standing in this new place, you are overwhelmed with gratitude that it did end because the place you are in now feels so much better. It is profoundly difficult to let go of something, to close one door so that another might open. But if you've drawn this sigil, this is what you're being called to do. Something that no longer serves your expansion path is coming to an end, and you need to let it come to an end. You may only see the importance and value of this ending after it happens. But this sigil only appears in situations where the letting go of something and the ending of something is what holds the promise of renewal, transformation, alignment with one's true desires, path of purpose relief, and value. If you resist these necessary endings, you can experience pain. Like, no, right? But this sigil is telling you that you need to move forward. You need to let go of what prevents you and potentially others from moving forward into an improved state of being. What are you resisting the death of? An idea, a belief, a behavior, an addiction, a phase of life, your attachment to something, a relationship, a job, a house, a person, a part of your identity, yourself, a pattern or habit, a pet, a thing. Whatever it is, ask yourself what you need in order to allow that ending. Such a powerful message. These are really such a deep reflection cards. But I was drawn to present that today. So if that resonates for anyone who watches this now or later, um, just take it any way that it helps you on your path. So I thought I would share as I was nudged to do so. So I feel like that is all that they wanted to talk about here. If you are new to my channel or new to these readings, welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here. We do have a great group of Zen friends with huge hearts and great senses of humor. As I say every session lately, those are two things that can help us make our path easier as this human. So, welcome. There's always room for more Zen friends. If you want to know how the whole process works of readings, it's all down in the description box of the video. Donations do get first priority. Um, and you get a fortune cookie with donations as well. Today's one per person per session. We're continuing with the seasons of the witch with the Mabon Oracle, which is all about fall equinox in the northern hemisphere, anyway. So happy autumn equinox to everyone. One of my favorite parts of the year, fall into winter, my favorite season. um, but we do dive deeper as well. Free readings get 1 to 2 cards. Donations, we get more into the tea of stuff. Um, and if you want to make a donation, you can use the super chat at the bottom. And then in the description box of the video, it has everything listed, including my Venmo, PayPal, Square, and I did it out of order. Venmo, PayPal, Square, and Cash App. Those are the 4. Um, so, and you can make a donation of any amount. I don't have set dollar amounts because I know everyone's finances and cost of living and even the what is it? The you know, transactional change rate of exchange across countries and currencies and all that are different as well. So all that to say, whatever you give from your heart, perfect amount. At the end of each session, I do post a pinned comment listing all the readings and the donation, not donation. So I do list the donation separate from the free reading so you can see them separate. Look for your name, timestamps are listed. You can just click on that and go directly to your reading as well. Um, oh yeah, I wanted to make sure we did post a my the birthing of my new podcast series, which will be coming up here. I was hoping to get the first one out this week, but the energy wasn't there, and we don't force it, right? Um, but it's the easier path with brudda-zen, and here is the um, link to the intro video, and all you have to do to get into a drawing that I'll have on October 1st is to, of course, watch the video and then comment on it, something you're grateful for in your life right now or in your past, and then you'll be entered into the drawing. I'll be having a drawing for a free personal recorded reading, or if you want the hedge of peace and love, I'll throw that in there as well. Um, What else? What else? Oh, so I just like to make sure everyone knows about the giveaway. And then I'm having a special also on my personal readings in honor of the birthing of my new podcast series. So through the end of September, all the way through the end of October, my 15-minute personal recorded readings are going to be 777, and my 30-minute are going to be 1515. So if you're interested, all this information's in the description box of the video too, and I just posted it in the chat. So just like to make sure everyone knows about the dealios and the drawings and all that kind of stuff. All right. I don't know, feels weird energy today. I'm just not in my flow as I normally am. Which is all right, happy fall. So anyway, I am going to be using the Enchanted Frahaxa Tarot. I always say that because I feel like that's German. Um, but I looked up Frahaxa actually means enchanted. So the Enchanted Tarot. And that's what we'll be using today. So hello, everybody. So Rosalind, hello. Olivier Vagata, hello, hello. Alice, hello, hello. And of course, I said hello to Kathleen and Zuni earlier. So good morning. Let's check up here. All right, Zuni, you ended up getting the job with space. I love that for you. Congratulations. I love it. Thank you for the update. All right, let me grab Kathleen's here for the free readings when we get to those here. So your cat is curious. You still put your question because it tends to be mobbed. I know, right? You went out at 3 a.m. And you're here. Thank you for being here. I know it's like you can definitely have a nap today, huh? Take a cat nap with your cat. All right. Um, so we've got those. Let me just grab these real quick here. All right. Thank you, Rosalind. Yeah, everything is well. Did you want just a general reading, Rosalind, or did you have a specific question? You can always put that out there if you have one. Otherwise, we'll give you a general when we get to that. All right. Let me just get this out of here. There we go. All right. So we'll get started here. I do have 2 donations that came in. So we'll start with you, Alice. So thank you so much for the dual donations. And let us put in your timestamp here, Alice, at 17:55. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, so we'll start off with the little peach fruit there. And you want to know, what is the energy around your first round of interviews with your dream company? Will you be moved forward to the second round? All right, very good. We'll see what the energy is today. Take a quick sip here. So, cheers, everybody. All right. All right. Thanks, Rosalind. All right. So let's take a look here and see what this is here. So, the energy around your first round interviews with your dream company. All right. Got that and that and that. I like that. And will you be moved forward to the second round specifically? All right. Just have one for that. All right. All right, bottom of the deck, we do have the 7 of Earth, the 7 of Pentacles, which is the last thing that grows on the fruit tree is the fruit. Evidently a slow, drawn-out process, eh? I know sometimes that job interviews, especially when there's the first and then the second, and there's all this, steps you have to go through. You're like, gosh, it's been like months. I feel like I've been interviewing, right? Sometimes it can feel that way. So I feel like that is a good sign because you do have the fruit in your hand. It's just a matter of time with things unfolding. Let's see here what the energy is around this here. You do have the Knight of Earth, another slow moving energy card here. It's the slowest moving knight out of all the knights. It is movement, it's just slow, meandering type of energy. One of my favorite representations of this is in I don't know what of the many tarot decks I have it is, but It's someone the person's off the horse barefooted, leading the horse, taking their time just walking through the grass in the field. They're not even on the horse riding it, they're walking the horse. So it is a slower energy, um, but it's not a no, it's just a slowness. See what else the energy around here is. Yeah, we got the 6 of fire, the 6 of wands. It is a victory energy. It is a kind of a celebratory, being raised up, energy. So that is a good sign as well that a victory does come. It just takes time for it to come through. And the 2 of air, 2 of swords. There is a bit of a uh, decision making to come through here. And that makes sense. I feel because I think we pulled a card on this, some cards on this yesterday or the day before, right? Because this they're bringing back something that was said around. It's that they're having to make decisions, and that's where the delay is on these, is that it's taking time for things because they have to decide and, who they're moving forward and finish up some interviews and stuff, so they're like, "All right, we need to decide, uh, you know, what we're gonna do." They're reminding me of, like, when bringing back a memory when I was in corporate life and I was a supervisor, manager positions, and we would do interviewing. That was like a big thing. Like, oh my god, it took so much of our time to do. But we would gather after two of us would interview a person, um, and take turns interviewing them, and then we would, uh, you know, talk amongst ourselves. And then when we went to make the big decisions, we all would get together and discuss it. And I feel like that's where it's at, is in this kind of, position here. Will you go on to the second? Yeah, 8 of air. 8 of swords is a communication movement energy. So I do feel like you do move on to the second round here. Um, it's just a matter of time. I don't know, it's like this mummification. It's like it's just a matter of time, how many centuries do you have to be in your tomb before they do that. But I do feel very positive energies around all of that. It's just taken time for it to unfold here. Um, but I feel like you'll hear this next week. All right. So that is for number 1. Thank you again, and we'll get your fortune cookie here for your number 2 question here is what I feel like they're wanting to do here. All right. So for number 2, thank you for the little angel halo. You're a goddess message to help with your self-love, confidence, and progress. Ooh, I love that. All right, let's take a look here. So from the divine feminine, the goddess. All right, thank you. Boom, 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 boom. Got those and then those. Okay. So we've got 3 and then 2. Are you going to have a 1? Is there going to be 1 card or what comes next? The unexpected. Okay, we do have the 1. And then they want this on the end. A little plus. Oh, +1. Okay. We'll put that over there. All right. So what we got here. Let me just scooch these over here so I can fit them all in. So the bottom of the deck, it's like there's we've got this is the emperor energy, but this is the council of monarchs. It's an interesting, I love this, how they interpret this, because I usually look at the emperor as the ruler over the 4 kings, which we have all the 4 kings of all the 4 suits of pentacles and wands and water, um, which is cups, and the swords, which is air. So it's all 4 kings that are there bringing in all of this energy. And this is interesting because I also um, believe, from what Spirit has told me, that we're each human, we have 4 elemental spirit guides that rule over the 4 different elements of our life. Of course, pentacles being our physical body, wands being our spiritual energy, our drive, our passions, our mind, the air and our emotions. There's like supervisors that lead those areas of our life. And I feel like they're saying here, what a great message is that you're never alone, that you have these tons of spiritual posse on the other side, your spiritual team that's all supporting you through things. But there's different, I mean, specifically over these areas of your life, you have these four entities that are so involved and aware and connected to your life, that there are journey mates that are always with us, in addition to other spiritual guides, and of course, our guardian angel who's with us since we were created and will be with us for all of our life. We've got all of these elemental spirit guides and ancestors. I mean, there's just a crowd of people around you. And I feel like that's the big message underlying here, is that you are never ever alone, that you're so supported. You weren't just dropped off from the mothership and left here and good luck. They're so intimately connected to our being and our adventure. So we're never ever alone. And I like that message. Yeah. So let's see here. You got 3, 2, 1, which is a countdown to something. So I feel like they're wanting you to know this here. So let's see here. Yeah. So what helps you with your self love is that you are so loved from the other side. And the more we connect with asking about our elemental spirit guides and our higher self and all of that posse, the more we're filled up with this beautifully eternal, unconditional love energy, which is where our self love is. Of course, we're taught to define our self love by the outside world, which is temporary, unstable, fickle, and conditional, which is not, that's retail price, how we feel or how other people say that what we're worth. And it's not true. That's you know, when we look at retail price, we all end up on a clearance rack, right? But when we go inward and upward, we find our pricelessness, that solid foundation, that eternal love, not temporary love like the outside world. Eternal, unconditional, meaning there's no conditions, nothing you can do to lose that love, nothing you have to do to gain it. And you can't get more of it. You already have it all, right? So when we sit in that and define our self love by that, then we feel precious. We feel priceless, right? I feel like that's an important message there. All right. So then on this journey, wherever this is headed, 3, 2, 1, let's see what else they want you to know here. So the three cards, you got the Seven of Air, the Seven of Swords. And this is about being aware of our own mindsets that have cheated us out of opportunities, cheated us out of confidence and progress and self love, right? Because all that opinion from the outside world that has this long list of conditions of your lovability, of your acceptability, of what success means. It's like all these opinions from the outside world we took on as small t truth of, oh God, this is real, this is true. That's small t truth, it's not true. The more we go inward and upward, we discover what the capital T truth rooted in that unconditional love is, and we see things for what they truly are, not the stories that we've been told that are not true. They're made up. They're just human, rooted in human fear, right? But this is that Seven of Air, is becoming aware of what thoughts of my own betray me, um, make me feel blinded and bound and trapped and restricted. And becoming aware of those is how I am set free from them. Otherwise, they're just running on autopilot below the surface. Yeah, we have the Hermit. So an important energy of stepping back. Usually there's a lantern there, which is stepping back, connecting to the higher realms, getting away from that outside noise and really going inward and upward helps us see that truth. And the Two of Fire, the Two of Wands, yeah. And it is our beautiful energy. I like how they have all the birds in here too, which is all our thoughts, because birds fly, right? Usually, unless they're penguins. But the Two of Wands energy is about whatever I focus on grows and expands. So if and there's neither right or wrong choices in life. There's just different choices. That's the way spirit sees it. You don't make mistakes. You just make a different choice that has a different outcome with a different experience, and you're like, "Ooh, I don't like that." Then we can make a different choice. There's not a, "Oh, you made a wrong choice." It's like, "No, you made a choice and you're on this adventure." It's like choosing the wrong thing to play on in the playground. There's no wrong, there's just different. It's like, "Oh, the swings are wrong." No, the swings are different from the slide, from the merry-go-round, from the seesaw, from the monkey bars, or they're all different. They just bring you different experiences, and when you're done with one, it's not like, "Oh, I shouldn't have swung on the swings." It's like, "Okay, I experienced the swings, now I'm ready for a slide." Something easier. Um in that moment, and then maybe I wanna go on this, go in circles on the merry-go-round, or I want ups and downs of the seesaw. Oh, that's cool. I never thought of those before. Thank you, spirit. So, I like those. I feel like this is a stepping into your power kind of energy, and you find that going inward and upward, and the more we focus on higher vibration, we draw that in there to us with those choices. If I choose lower vibration, I draw more of those in, but when I'm ready, I can make a switcheroo. So I like this empowering energy that you're not at the whim of the outside world, that you get to choose what you draw in. And if you don't aren't enjoying what you're drawing in, then you can change and draw something else in. No harm, no foul, right? The two cards, then the progression here, you've got the Fool card. Yeah, brand new adventure, free of expectations and having a world of possibilities. It's like this childlike energy that comes in with the Fool card, because it's the first card of the major arcana that, of course, comes after the last card of the major arcana, the World card, which is an ending of an old cycle. You've reached what you wanted to with that. Now you're ready for something new, an adventure, but without expectation, without supposed to be and should be all those small t truths. It's like a fresh slate. As children, before we're told, "No, that's stupid. Don't do that. I want you to do this. I praise you if you do what I want you to do, and punish you if you don't." And, "No, you can't be an astronaut. You can't be a space traveler. That's impossible. Think of something else." Before we get all that, that comes into our life, we have this idea of anything's possible. And this is what we're returning to. Yeah, the Nine of Water, the Nine of Cups. What is this dream come true that you had as a child? That sometimes our dreams are limited because of the opinion we had growing up. But when we get out of our head and into our hearts, then we can see more possibilities. It's interesting. I was reading something the other day that they're bringing back, which was, when we release and surrender things to the creator and going, "I'm so excited about what you're bringing my way, and I'm going to head in a direction, but I'm going to be open-minded and open-hearted and keep my eyes wide open, because the possibilities of what I can see as a human is based on what I've experienced. Because if I haven't experienced that something exists, then it won't come to my human mind of that possibility. But creator, of course, the upper world, they know, no, they're know-it-alls, right? They know everything, and we may not know. It's like, if someone goes, like, they're bringing, "What type of ice cream do you want?" And I'm like, "Well, let's see, there's chocolate and vanilla. Today I feel like chocolate." And they're like, "Well, look, here's Baskin Robbins, 50 whatever, how many flavors they have." They're like, "But you have all these options." And you're like, What? Wait, I've only known of chocolate and vanilla all my life. You're saying there's all these other flavors?" We don't know all those other flavors until we're open to those, right? So I like that, coming in here for you. There's a world of possibilities here for you, and it is this wonderment, and that you are so loved and so supported that they will help this, and know that your path is always for you. Everything, even though it may or may not feel like in the moment, our human might be like, "How is that for me?" Eventually, we'll see. If not here in this lifetime, when we're back on the other side, we're like, "Oh, that's right. That's why I wanted that to happen." we don't see the whole tapestry of where our thread interacts with everything. Like, a thread here in this big tapestry, it's like it didn't know what it was gonna create. It just knows, "Why did I have these dark times?" Well, it helped make this beautiful design. We just don't see it because we don't see the big picture. We're just in the darkness of the thread in the moment, right? You also have the 6 of Earth is where it's coming down here. I like this. This is 6 of Pentacles is an energy of a beautiful give and receive energy. I do feel like here the 6 of Pentacles can be an overgiving awareness energy, or I call it my codependency awareness card, where we realize through these things that get brought to the surface, there's a lot of stuff that happens to us when we're younger, right? A lot of conditioning and brainwashing, right? All these rules. But a lot of this, like 7 years old and younger, is when our emotional body is created. 7 to 14 is when our mental body is created. And 14 to 21 is when we go through puberty and all the hormonal horrors, right? That transformation. So we've got like three kind of phases of inner children. I call the physical body our inner teenager, but inner children. And when we're 7 years old and younger, in regards to the 6 of Pentacles, is when we develop our sense of uh, like the rate of exchange of love and abundance, like how much I have to give to receive. And it's usually way out of balance because as children, we feel like I'm giving 1,000 love coins, but parents or, you know, aunts and uncles and siblings and grandparents and everyone else are so busy as, adults. We get it now as adults that, oh my God, how did anyone have time for children? It's so busy that they can only give so much time. So we feel as children, we give so much, 1,000 love coins to get one back. And as children, we don't know any better. We think that's fair. And that just kind of drops into our subconscious and keeps working on autopilot until we consciously bring that way out of balance, unfair rate of exchange. 1,000 to 1, no. 100 to 1, no. 10 to 1, no. 1 to 1, yes, right. And so there is a little bit of reflection we can do from 7 years old and younger to release and forgive and realize everyone was doing the best they could, but that it was not a balanced giving and receiving energy that we felt, but we can bring that down now. We can talk to our emotional inner child and go, that was what we did to survive, and that's the way you understood it, but let me give you some great news. It doesn't have to be that. Let's let all that old stuff go and let's recalibrate it to 1 to 1. And then that brings in allows stuff to flow to us because when our inner child believes 1,000 to 1, it keeps track. Have we got up to 1,000 yet? Nope. We're at 777. We still have, a couple hundred more to go and some change to get to 1,000 before the forest fields drop to allow things to come into our life. And when we get up to that 1,000 and they're like, "All right, there we go. We reached 1,000." The walls come down for a moment, some abundance comes in. We start back at 0, the walls come back up. So if we've had moments of, "Wow," and then again, ever they're showing me in my head, they're like in warehouses, kind of things they would have, 1,000 days since accident free, and then all of a sudden 0 days. Thanks, Dave, because it started all over again. That's what they're showing. It's like, all right, we start building up again. But what's lovely is when we find that balance of 1 to 1 and release all that stuff, that these beliefs around what I'm worthy of and what I have to do to receive, then it's just they break the chalk and break the chalkboard they've been keeping hatch marks on to make sure we get up to that 1,000, and then abundance and things flow to us more easily. So I love that for you. I feel like they're saying you deserve all this and that things are not being held from you. It's only things that we hold back from ourselves. and that they are so supportive, and they have like things lined up on those forest field walls to bring this abundance and bring things into your life. And the more we can become more open to receiving, both consciously but subconsciously, talking to our inner children, going, that's that Seven of Swords too. What mindsets did my mental inner child create that feel limiting and small and powerless? And we question those. I'm going, no, those aren't true. We are powerful, supernatural, eternal spirit beings made of unconditional love, living in these bodies, going on these adventures. So we're not broken. We're just burning away that which is not us. We don't need to find um, and become anything different. We just have to discover what are these obstacles that we've created as our little humans that blind us and stand in between that and stepping into our power of who we really are. It's getting out of this and transforming those things that don't serve us anymore, burning away that which is not us, that was pasted on us growing up. So, wow, we went deep into that, I know. And then you have the plus sign. What's this bringing in here? You got the Page of Fire. Yeah, you have this new passionate energy coming in, and the Page of Earth. Yeah. So there is a new opportunity that's coming in here. There's a lot of energy flowing in that's going to allow new opportunities for you, but you're being brought to this new stage of your life here. And I love that, which we knew with the Full card too. Yeah, and it's bringing you to the Knight of Air. The knights are on a quest, and this night they're on the quest for the Ace of Swords, which is an energy of, um, seeing things from a higher perspective, a lot of mental changing of my stories, a lot of clarity coming in your life as well. And it's fast movement. So I feel like you're going to be really getting a lot of ahas here, um, as you question your beliefs about, why do I feel that way about myself, others, the world, um, possibilities. So I feel like you're having a lot of this stuff rise to set you free. So I love that. So hopefully that helps. Let's see what your fortune cookie is. What else they want you to know here. So what else for Alice here? All right, here we go. This is from the Seasons of the Witch, Maybone. Kitchen witchery. Hey, did you ever want to be a culinary person? It's funny, my last host and my current host, both of them do kitchen witchery. They'll be like, they believe a recipe is a starting point, and then they do their little extra stuff to it, which I love. All right. So kitchen witchery is abundance, manifesting many paths, or opportunities. I love that. It says abundance flows easily and effortlessly into my life. Be in gratitude. Wow. So your higher self, and the goddess chose this card for you because you're entering a joyful period of abundance and manifestation. Enjoy it! Exclamation. When kitchen witchery visits you, you can rejoice knowing that the hardships of late have come to an end. You might feel lighter, spiritual guidance is easier to understand, and solutions to problems flow freely. Take advantage of this time and get clear about your desires, as what you ask for now is very likely to manifest with ease. This card will also appear when many opportunities are available to you, so it is a favorable omen for job seekers or when seeking support, such as from a loan, an investor, or donations. In a reading about your career, this card is confirmation that now is a good time to move forward with any stalled plans or begin working on a new project. I love all this for you. If you have thought about asking for a raise or a promotion, receiving this card is your push to go ahead and ask for what you desire. There you go. Dream job on the way, right? In a reading about love, this card is a positive sign for marriage or the start of a new family, especially blended families, where many moving parts are coming together to form a whole. Of course, for singles, this card means not only love, but many options to choose from. You might find you're attracting more people than usual. Ooh la la. All right. So I love that for you. Kitchen witchery. Excuse me. So that is what they's got for you, Alice. Thank you again for your dual donations. I greatly appreciate that. All right, and I think that is it this morning for donations so far. So let me grab here the free readings, and we'll grab those. We'll begin those, and if, of course, if we get any donations in the meantime, I will jump to those. But we don't have a whole lot today. All right, there we go. Let me just get these all set up here. Thank you guys again so much for being here and all the thumbs up. It does help spread the Zen love. So thanks for being part of the love tsunami. So cheers to everyone. All right. So up first, we have Kathleen Hughes. Thank you, Kathleen. Let's grab your timestamp here. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Want to know, will Adam and you reconcile? Meditation revealed to you that it could go either way. I know, right? So let's take a look here. So, will Adam and you reconcile? We'll do one card for that. Thank you. And then what else can we know about this? Is this a faded type of relationship or is this a stepping stone? What else can we know here? We'll dig a little deeper since we have time. Hey, little kitty kitty. You have the Four of Fire, the Four of Wands energy, which is a very, it's a joyful energy. It just, there's, I like how they're uh, cocoon and they're pulling someone out of the cocoon. Takes some transformation for it to happen here. It's a joyful energy. And I feel like we might have talked about gratitude and choosing joy. I feel like a transformation energy that's coming in here, which I normally don't get with the Four of Wands, but it's like in order for a reconciliation to work between the two of you, it is a change of focusing on what I love about someone instead of what is not happening, right? Those expectations of supposed to be like, who are they supposed to be? What are they supposed to be doing? How's the relationship supposed to work and progress? What it's supposed to bring me? What am I supposed to do? It puts a lot of pressure and sucks the life out of relationships because with expectations, yeah, we're checking off going, are they doing that? Yeah, they are. Are they doing that? Yeah, they are. But it's like expectations are like up here and it takes all this energy. It's like we start off behind and we're trying to catch up just to get back to zero. And then, you know, once we've caught up with expectations, then go above expectations is abundance. And that hardly happens. We usually, when there's expectations, we're usually living in lack, not in abundance. When we don't have any expectations or very little, I know as humans it's hard not to have any, but when we focus on having as little as possible, focus on what we love about someone, we live in abundance because there's very little expectations and they're doing this. We're focusing on what they are doing instead of what they're not. And that grows I feel like that's where the growth can happen in the relationship is instead of focusing in on what is falling short, we're focused on what we love about it. And if there's that kind of transformation, I have no doubt that you can accomplish that. I just feel like it's more maybe on Adam's side right now that they're not in that place in their life where they've done that inner work. They're focusing more on they're more on why are you calling me a moron? That's funny. Uh, they're focusing uh, more on trying to live up to all this long list of expectations that they have in their head, thinking that all the stuff that's been given them all their life this is what everyone thinks, and it's not true, but I feel like that is there. Let's see what else they wanted you to know here too. We got the Queen of Earth, the Queen of Pentacles. This is Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, nurturing yourself. And it's a good independent kind of energy. It is about birthing new things. Um, so I don't, when I'm asking what else can we know? Is this a fated relationship? Is this a stepping stone? I feel like this is more stepping stone energy because when we get an energy of the Queen of Pentacles, even though it's about sensuality and birthing things and growth and that, has a strong energy of this is about for me to release me from things. They've been a more of a mirror for me to be released from things. Um, so it's more part of your transformation than it is um, that they're going to be um, that mirror for you of the unconditional love inside. Instead, they've been a mirror showing you what you want to see about yourself. You know, it's like these fears we have, the small t truths. It's really pointing us back to um, showing me what I'm ready to release. And that's what happens. We draw in these mirrors showing us what we want to see about ourselves until we see it. And then we don't need those stepping stones, those mirrors anymore that are reflecting that. Instead, as we raise our love vibration and our own self worth, then we start getting mirrors that reflect that back to us, right? One of my things I loved when I read it, I forget where I read it, somewhere on Instagram. It was like the reflection in a mirror doesn't change until the person looking into the mirror changes. And I reflected on like my 5 long-term relationships and I'm like, yeah, I was getting a lot of the same reflections and I'm like, oh, because that was me being reflected back to me. And then when I made changes, then the mirror began to change as well. So interesting. So hopefully that helps there, Kathleen. I don't feel like, and again, it could go either way, but I feel like a reconciliation wouldn't work because it would just be doing the same old things. At least they would be doing some of the same old things. Even if you went in with gratitude, focus on what you love about them, you wouldn't be getting it back from them. And eventually, I feel like you would kind of grow impatient with that and be like, that's all right. you know, uh, I want I want to be with someone like me that can both focus on what we love about each other, not nitpick each other to death. So hopefully that helps. That's what they got for you, my dear. So enjoy and with your little kitty. Does your kitty look like that? With a little samurai sword. All right. Right. Many blessings. Thank you for being here. All right, Rosalind, you are up next. So thank you so much for your question. Let's put that down here. All right, and you'd love a general message. So let's take a look here and see what Spirit has here for you. What would they like you to know right now? Okay, thank you. What else? All right. So what do we got here? You've got the Page of Fire and the Five of Fire. I like this energy for you because the Page of Fire is kind of like a new way of looking at your power and your abilities in life here. And the Five of Fire, the Five of Wands, is an energy like it is about group energy coming in here. You're surrounded by people, but it's also about drama and that, there's a firestorm going on around you, but you can be in the center of the storm, like the eye of the storm. And there's this message coming in here that you do not need to take action to help other people get along with other people. Just like this nudge to you can take some time off, let them learn to deal with each other and you just focus on your individual relationships with each person. And it's not about fixing anything or trying to encourage them to do things or whatever. This is about just developing your relationships with each individual person and how they all get along, whether it's family, friends, or a combo or whatever. That little storm of drama is their own. You can be drama free, which, I feel like you're like have that peacemaker kind of energy where you don't like people in conflict and you don't like people being in conflict with you either. And that's great. That's a huge heart that you have. But sometimes we can become a crutch for people, and they are the ones that need to um learn to talk things out, to calm down and reach out to one another and not expect someone else to make everything better. That you get to deserve this energy, stepping into giving yourself and allowing yourself to have all this energy towards yourself. Because out of anyone, you deserve all that love energy and all that action energy than everyone else too. So I like that for you. Anything else around this at all? I just feel like you deserve a break. Yeah, like the old McDonald's. You deserve a break today at McDonald's. You get to go to the playland and have enjoyment and kind of recharge, let all this energy that you've been investing everywhere else, let it come back to you. I feel like that's the message for today in this moment. At least this session. All right. So that's what they have for you, Rosalind. So many blessings to you. Thank you again for being here as well. So Kathleen he's a menace. So my given name is Dennis. So I heard Dennis the Menace all my life, of course. A black cat. I love it. Buddha, Buddha, Buddha. Little ninja troublemaker, huh? You're welcome, Rosalind. All right. So we'll continue here. We got Livier Vagara. Thank you so much for being here. Hello, my friend. Let's put your timestamp out here. I want to ask, how is October looking forward here? All right, let's take a look. How is October looking? All right, got that one and this one here. So based on your current energies, we do have the Seven of Air, Seven of Swords, along with the Elder of the Earth, which is actually like King of Pentacles energy, which is abundance. I like this. I feel like October is a month of abundance with this King of Pentacles. It's a very solid grounding, one of the big abundance in the physical world kind of energies, the coin, the people, the fullness of like the human adventure in the outside world. So I like that energy for you. The Seven of Swords, you know, um, we do have here. I love all the monarchs. Got all four um, different areas of your life represented there, and what that means here, the Seven of Swords is like you becoming aware of your own thoughts and beliefs and mindsets um, that have cheated you out of opportunities, some old beliefs that you're like, why do I believe that? Why do I have this doubt? Why do I have this fear? Because those are the things that have been holding back, right? And I also feel the Seven of Swords can be, also becoming aware of how others, um, it's like other people's motivations, other people's actions come to light. And it can be a thievery, betrayal kind of energy, but I don't feel like I feel like you're just understanding how other people have been reacting to things that um, have like triggered their actions in ways that have cheated them out of opportunities. And I feel like these individuals, and I feel like there's like a few that because of their choices, their fears, and actions rooted in those fears, that because they're experiencing lack, they've looked to you to try to fill all that up. And that's part of this energy of, like, this undeserving energy from them is is being a great mirror for you to just go, "Oh, how do I feel that way?" I feel like October is that by you experiencing other people's limiting beliefs really are pointing to you to go, "Oh, I wonder how that's inside of me." Because you look at that and go, "Wow," because you recognize it, it's because somewhere within you there's a it exists. Doesn't have to be the exact, but it's resonating within you. And that's part of what helps you set yourself free because what's coming to mind, and thank you for your message about they're bringing in Byron Katie. I love that because one of the things I learned with all that reflective energy, which makes total sense now. Now that I'm like, oh, that's you're talking about realizing how we experience other people, we find it in us. Because one of the things, um, like with my mom, had health challenges for decades around things, and she would share with me. At a point was afraid to ask, "How are you?" because it was like, well, this is hurting, and this is going on, and this and that, and I would get in this um, feeling of helplessness, and um, I would be like inside, I was like seeing this reflection, like, why are you being a victim? Why don't you, to do this and do this and do this and, right? Judgy, right? But doing that, Byron Katie, from thework.com, if anyone's interested in checking it out, she's got a great YouTube channel, but also a free website, thework.com, where there's a judge your neighbor worksheet. And I came across Byron Katie, gosh, probably more than a decade ago, but I loved it. Such transforming things because I wrote out all the stuff. When my mom does this, um, it makes me feel like she's a victim, and the turnaround is when my mom does this, I feel like a victim, and then you answer, like, "How is that true? Think of 3 reasons why that's true," and boom, 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 I'm like, "Because it's true." Because when I experience that, I'm like, "Oh my god, I can't believe she's acting like a victim, blah, 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 blah. Why does that happen? What does she expect me to do?" Victim. And I realized, "Oh my god." It's what was bothering me is how I was feeling like a victim, and so, it allows you to get to this place where you understand yourself. So I feel like that's what kinda comes in here is you realize that some people's actions that we're looking going, "Oh, why are they making such stupid choices?" That was one of my why are people making such stupid choices? And you realize the 3 fingers that are pointing back to us, right? Like, oh, me judging them, trying to control their life and, focusing on how they're not living up to what I think they should live, how that's stupid. Because it's a waste of my time. I can't control anyone else, what their choices are in that, but it allows this beautiful reflection for us to come in. What was the other things I used to say? Like, angry people make me so angry. Sad people make me so sad. It's such a, oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. Controlling people make me want to control them. And it's like, yep, it's so true. It's such a beautiful mirror when we realize all this stuff that we're picking up from others. We wouldn't recognize it unless it exists inside of us. So I love that energy. But I feel like that's what comes in here. I feel like it's a very beneficial October for you, both in the physical world, and I feel like you experiencing other people having lack and those things really allows you to go, "Oh, yeah." Not in a judgy way, it's an observation going, "Oh, yeah," and not beating ourselves up over it. Because I loved it. Once I did that for my mom, I realized, because one of the little things you do is you step through, "My mom is a victim," the statement. Is that true? we might be like, "Yes, it is." And then 2, can we absolutely if we say yes to number 1, then number 2 is, can I absolutely know that my mom is a victim? And like, no, I can't absolutely know anything. And 3 is, you don't have to give up the thought, but if you put the thought to the side, then how do you see? And it's all about a specific situation. So if I put it to a side that my mom's not a victim, what changes? And I'm like, wow, if I don't get into that mindset, she's a victim, I can listen to her and I can hear her and I can have compassion for her instead of, you need to do something about it then. What do you expect me to do? Um, and then I forget what number 4 is. Um, I think number 4 is similar to that, but um, I forget it right now because I'm all caught up into you know, those are the tools. But what it allowed me to do was, because of all that, the next time, and since then, whenever um, she brings up any of her pain or whatever people are going through, whatever, instead of me feeling that I have to do something with it, it allowed me to have a conversation with it and going, Mom, when you tell me about your pain, what is it that you're wanting from me? What is it that you're expecting from me? And she goes, nothing. I just want to vent. And I'm like, oh my God, this whole time, I thought she was telling me because she wanted me to fix it. And it's like, no, just want you to listen. And I'm like, all right, great. So then I just do. And I feel good about it. If anything comes through from spirit or anything, I share it, but it's not, I don't feel like I have to fix it anymore. And so I don't get riled up and, oh my God, it's like, okay. So interesting, right? Anyway, I feel like that's what they have for you, Olivier. So hopefully that helps. Feels like a great growth October, a freeing October coming in there. All right. So have a great day, my friend. Right, that's where we were at there. All right, very good. All right, and then a DT, you are up. Let's grab your timestamp here. All right. So you'd like to get a reading. When will your person contact you? You have no contact. Let me take a quick sip here. All right. So, based on your current energies, when will your person contact you? All right, let's see what we got here. So, we've got the Justice card here, which is about balance and this need to see things from a higher perspective, to clear away some expectations and some fears. When you look at the scales, one side of the scale is the small t truths of human ego and opinion and all that's supposed to be and should be and need to be and have to be and must be. And then the um, higher, seeing things from that higher perspective, from a place of unconditional love instead of fear. And there's this balancing out. One energy, I feel like things need to calm down, things need to work themselves out a little bit. Um, Let me see what this other card is here because I don't feel like there's this. Yeah, the 9 of Wands, this barrier keeping it from happening here. I feel like as soon as I saw the Justice card and the energy that was coming in, is that they feel trapped. They feel like the bar is so high of expectations that I can't live up to it and that it's just going to end up in disappointment. And so they were beating themselves up. And even if you said anything or didn't, this is all existing in their mind way before they met you growing up. They had that long list of expectations and they just assume that everyone has the same expectations as they do, like we all do in the beginning as humans, right? We think everyone has the same type of you need to do this and this and this and this and this. And they could be reading your responses and reactions in a way that go, oh, that means you're upset or that I'm disappointing you. And they can be disappointed going, I have this high bar that I have to live by and I keep everyone by it. And you're not being that stuff that I need you to be either. And it's unobtainable, for all of us. All of this opinion we've been having growing up, we can't do 100% of those things because some of them are even contradictory. This person told me this is the way. This person told me this is the way, and they're different. And I'm like, well, I can't do both, so I can never hit 100%. It's kind of like expectations set us up for failure because we can't live up to all those. They're so high that all of this is needed to hit that. And if we hit it for a second, it doesn't last. It takes so much energy. We're exhausted. And I feel like that's the kind of energy that was going on in your guy in the relationship there, at least within them, because they had this. And this is this barrier. They're like, I don't want to be caged. I don't wanna feel disappointing to someone else, and I don't like this feeling of being disappointed in myself and other people, and that's why they've done that. So they're unhappy on the inside, and, until they deal with that, then they won't be really looking for contact. I don't feel like current energy, there's a barrier, so I don't feel like there's contact right now. And of course, this is a message for you as well, right? It's a mirror for you to go, where are my expectations on myself? What expectations did I have on them and the relationship and me in the relationship? And because when we focus on that, that's what sucks the life out of things because we end up focusing on what's not happening in our relationship when we go into this kind of energy and that they should do this, they shouldn't do this, they should say this, they shouldn't say that, or they shouldn't be in silence. It's like all of this mindset can change, and that's what allows flow to come in, allows us to see things differently. The 9 of Wands is in a way stepping into your power as well, because if you look at the 9 of Wands, if you imagine walking down a canyon where there's these high walls and then there's this fence with 9 um, wands, and I can't get over it. It's too tall. Can't get through it because they're so close together. But you notice one of the wands is glowing, and that's your ace of wands. As you grab that, it does open up a space for things to flow. But it's about you stepping into your power, that taking your ace of wands, realizing what someone does or doesn't do, says or doesn't say, doesn't define me. I define me. And what I focus on is what I grow and expand in my life. So if I'm focusing on what they're not doing, like an example is they're not contacting me. If I'm focusing on they're not contacting me, they're not contacting me, they're not contacting me, what do I get more of? Not contacting me, right? Excuse me. If I focus on what did I enjoy about who they are, who they were, what they brought into the relationship, what did I love about the relationship and what it brought me? What do I love about me in the relationship? What do I love about the communication we did have? As I'm focusing on gratitude around that stuff, I open the conduit to allow it to come to me easier instead of me focusing on no contact, and I'm pushing contact away because I'm asking for more no contact, right? So there's a little bit of, self-reflection, and whenever we have alone time, it is for us to question those beliefs and look at where I've been investing my mental energy, my emotional energy, my uh, manifestation and action energy, and my physical action energy. What are the things I've been doing? And are they of higher vibration or of lower vibration? And I can look at that for me. 'Cause that will only help me if I don't get back together with that person. At least I've gleaned from that, so I don't just keep repeating the same cycle, doing what I've always done, getting what I've always gotten, right? So some good awareness coming in here, and I know maybe you didn't wanna, you know you're open to hearing things. I know it's not like that's not everything I wanted to hear, but, you know, right now I don't feel like There's a block there for you to be able to look at this and learn these things. Because if it is destined for you guys to come back together, this will help it be. Otherwise, you'll just another time around the merry-go-round doing the same thing, having the same result. But if we want different results, we have to do different things as well. So hopefully that helps. And that is what they have for you, Aditi. Excuse me. My voice is trying to go away. All right. And I think that is all the free readings that I have today as well. You're very welcome, Aditi. Good to see you. And that's all the donations too. So, um, I think that is everything. So, I'm gonna just do here. Having a short session today, possibly. Let's take a look. I feel like I want to pull here from the Wisdom of the Golden Path Oracle. It's a beautiful deck here. I'm going to pull a card for us all, for the collective here, and just to give some other people a chance to come in if they normally come in 2 hours in, or or so. People will show up and go, What happened? Closed, gone fishing." So let's take a look here. Let's see what Spirit has here for us. What additional message? I did have a message at the beginning. We pulled a card from this blind spot tarot about allowing the death of something. So if you want to check that out, I did that after the singing bowl as well. So there's additional message if anyone's interested there. So what else for us as a collective? What would you like us to know? All right. We've got spontaneous and intuitive creation. Ooh, boom, boom, boom. Feels like magician energy there. Let's see what we got here. My fingers will work here. There it is. So, this card has presented itself today to remind us that the life force within you is the most creative force on earth. At the heart of every living thing, the same creative force and potential exists. You are part of one universal soul and are energetically connected to the eternal light of creation. Close your eyes for a moment and feel the creative force within you. Feel yourself in communion with the entire universe. You hold the potential and power to spontaneously create by tapping into the universal energy field of endless possibility. But you must first feel the power within you and love and trust it. You can create whatever it is you want, provided your mind, heart, and soul agree and are in alignment. That's all. The mind, heart, and soul all being together. I like that. Pay particular attention to impulses and ideas that come to you seemingly from nowhere. Your intuition can be your greatest asset. So trust all that you sense and feel and be guided by your instincts. Thoughts and ideas are the seeds of every creation, and spontaneous creation begins by the planting of a seed. There's an affirmation that says, affirmations. There's four of them. One, I am one with the universe. Two, I am one with the power of creation. Three, I spontaneously and intuitively create what my heart desires. Mm. And four, my thoughts and actions are in alignment with my soul. Beautiful. I love that for us. So there you go, everybody. So welcome, welcome. All right. And I did have a donation that just came in here. All right. So I'm not sure. Thank you for your donation via the Z Cash App. I'm so grateful. Um, so for anything coming your way, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to put Angel here. Um, so let me grab that here, Angel, at 120 even. All right, and then Cat Lady of the Sea, you'll be up after that. So just in case your name is different. Oh, it's you. Okay. All right. I will change that on here then. Whoops. Let me do that better here. There we go. So we'll put it here. So thank you so much, Mrs. Coin Crew. We'll do it that way there. All right. So thank you for your generous donation. I really appreciate that. So we'll take a look here and see what does Spirit want you to know here. Anything especially good, right? I love the um, something that Spirit worked on with me. It's like I just want some good stuff to happen in my life. And they're like, well, really everything. Yeah, I've been feeling down lately. There's been a lot of crazy energy too with the eclipse energy. Because I'm usually an upbeat, positive energy, gratitude, a lot in my life for a while. I was pretty I almost killed myself when I was in my early 20s. So I've come a long way over these 30 years. But even I had some like heavy energy during the eclipse. I was like, gosh, what is this? Oh, I forgot what this feels like. It just felt it was Pisces, full moon energy, eclipse energy, which was really bringing a lot of stuff up to be released. And so when that stuff gets released, sometimes we can feel the feels and huge. It was like a dark side of the pond energy. It was like, gosh, I had to do practices I hadn't done in a long time to get out of it. Right? Yeah. All right. We can dive in about your son specifically too. So I like that, everything that happens in our life um, can be good, can be looked at as good. From spirit standpoint, there's not good or bad. There's just different choices with different experiences. They don't have like a judgment on things, and everything is like kind of for our growth, in a bit. So, all right, let's take a look here. Let's see what spirit has here for you. Let's dive into your son first. I feel like you know, that's a big piece of the heaviness, right? Especially, for mamas. All right, let's see what they want you to know here. All right, where's this leading? All right. Yeah, little stepping stones I see here. So you got two card and then one card and then two cards in a different way and then two cards and then one card and then two cards. It's almost like hopscotch or like stepping stones across a river or a pond kind of energy. It's like 2 1 2 2 1 2. It's just kind of going through those. All right, let's see what we got here. Let me take a quick sip here. Cheers, everybody. All right. So, bottom of the deck, you do have the Ace of Earth, which is the Ace of Pentacles. Pentacles energy here, it does represent like a new opportunity in the physical world, but it's like second house Taurus energy, which is about the outside world, but it's also about our sense of worth. And I do feel like you are going through this change of seeing your worth in relationship to the outside world in a different way. And I feel like part of the low energy that you've been feeling is like some of the things that we've been using as definition for ourselves, which we're taught, right? Relationships with people of all kinds, family, friends, lovers, whoever, situations like our jobs, our education, situations we get in, and things, our bodies, our bank accounts, our possessions. Those are like three buckets that we're taught. This is what defines you growing up, right? And, it points us back to, all those things are temporary and unstable because people change, people walk away, people pass away. Situations never stay the same. Things deteriorate, break down, blow up, stolen. So we realize all this stuff that we're taught to define ourselves by in the outside world is unstable, temporary. And when we define ourselves by that, then we feel that instability and that heaviness, right? And it does this heavy feeling is kind of rooted. It feels like, our heart is being compressed or trapped or swords being stuck in it, right? And that is the fear of my worth and feeling shaky about what is my worth because, especially I can understand, a big thing in, people's lives, especially parents, especially moms, because they've been with you for a lot longer. They came they came from you, right? Um, that there is this, sense of, like, when I'm not a parent anymore because for so long, part of the role we take on, part of the definition we take on is, "I'm a parent." But then when they don't need us anymore and they don't want a parent, they don't want someone parenting them, then there's a resistance, rebellion, right? Like, I'm going to do things my own way. Because when we try to push them in a direction that we feel is best for them, resistance. We try to pull them in a direction, resistance, pulling back, right? Um, and so I do feel like there has been addition to that. I feel like there's been a few other things that have happened in those 3 buckets for you that's allowing you to see your worth differently instead of from the outside world, you're being pointed inward and upward to find the pricelessness of who you are. Because when we turn inward and upward, we discover the eternal, unconditional love of the higher realms. Eternal meaning it's never ending. That's really stable, right? And unconditional meaning there's nothing that I have to do to earn it, nothing I can do to lose it. Unconditional, that's really stable too. We find the only thing stable in this dimension inward and upward because that's the only stable thing. Everything else in the outside world is so changing, unstable, and fickle. And, that once we turn inward and upward and we find that stability, we find this grounding, we find out that we're priceless. When we define ourselves by the outside world, we that's retail price. We end up on the blue light special Kmart, the Kmart blue light special clearance rack if you are aware of the blue light special. From back in the day, I remember those still. Oh, the blue light, everyone would go to it. What's the super crazy deal, right? Super clearance. And it's like, nope, I'm ready to, you know, um, not end up on a clearance rack, but come in here and find my pricelessness. Then there's the stability that changes because when we look to our worth and things in the outside world, it ends up feeling lacking and falling short and disappointing. When we turn inward and upward, we feel full for the first time in this human adventure. And the outside world changes from a place of falling short because we're filling up on the inside and overflowing. The outside world changes to a place of abundance. So I feel like, this is happening for you and you're able to release yourself from a lot of this stuff. And and I do like, you know, um, and we'll see if we have the 10 of swords in here because, when we talk about I'm giving up on this and giving up on this and giving up on this, we're giving up trying to control things outside of our control and we're returning home to that which we can control because we can't control other people's stories and mental thoughts and beliefs. We can't control other people's emotions. We can't control other people's actions. And when we try, we feel out of control. And that's a uncomfortable feeling because our inner child wants to feel safe and in control. When we try to control things outside of us, we do feel that. We try to control the world, the economy, wars, people doing things, not doing things, saying things, not saying things. It's like trying to herd a bunch of cats, right? And I like wearing these. I have a lot of cat shirts because it's a reminder for me that when I feel unsafe and out of control, when our inner child feels unsafe and out of control, it boots out our intelligent, loving, compassionate side, and we become our 2-year-old inner self with its pet hissing cat. Meow, you know. And so when people are not acting loving, then they're in fear. Um, and they're feeling unsafe and out of control. And if I'm feeling that way, then I'm, in my fears. So I like this energy because when we get to that point of, I give up, I'm going to stop trying to control them. That's really what we're doing is you have 5 cats. I love it. Kitty, kitty, kitties. So you're like, yep. um, But I like this for you because it's when we begin to release that control and we begin to release that energy, we get all that energy back that we've been investing everywhere else. And then I can focus on questioning and realizing the only thing I can control are my own choices of my own stories and beliefs, my own emotions that I'm feeling, my own energy that I'm putting out and drawing toward me, and my physical actions. And it feels so much more free. We feel so much more in control when I come back to focus on the only thing I can control. And doesn't mean that I don't do things in the outside world. I just don't put my worth, the value of my worth on what happens out there because I realize I'm not in control of that. So I come in here and connect this way. So that's the bottom of the deck. Let's see what all these little stepping stones are. I feel like they're going to be a lot of confirmation of those things, but we'll take a look here. So your first two cards that came out, you got the Page of Water and the Page of Fire. Yeah. Going to a new level here. Pages are like the 11s. We've gone through the ace, through the 10, now we're to the 11. And the Page of Water, the Page of Cups is this kind of draw to focus on self-love because the Page of Cups, they'll hold the chalice, the Holy Grail, which represents our self-love, and the Page of Wands, stepping into your power, gaining clarity around your self-love and around your own power of where you invest your energy. So it's like I said, what we're talking about is you're in this stage of really realizing that, and you're going to a whole new level in it because you know your power, you know your self-love. But this stuff is like, if you ever heard of like how they purify gold, they heat it up in the dross, which are they call it impurities, but these are the low vibrational thoughts and beliefs and emotions and things that don't serve us anymore. They're bubbling to the surface, so you can scoop those off and you know uh, get to the point becoming more authentic to your true self. And I like this. Then you have the Elder of Fire. Yep, the King of Wands. The King of Wands energy is clearing the throne room of all the opinion of all the people in the court that fill the throne room, blah, 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 blah. Everyone's opinions, everyone's beliefs, and going, thank you, everyone. Leave those in that box on the way out the door. And I'm going to decide what I want. I'm going to decide what my heart wants. I'm getting out of my head of all these expectations and what do I want in life? And then I'm going to put a plan together. I'm going to put action and I'm going to move forward in something that is more truly authentic to myself. I like this. The, you know, you have the Page of Fire. the king of so you have the page of wands and the king of wands. The king of wands takes that magic wand, takes their power, and decides what they are wanting to do. Um, I like this. And you have the Hierophant too. This is your higher self drawing you to see things from higher perspectives, but it is an energy of like change and clarity with the major arcana number 5 here, which is with me seeing things differently from the higher perspective and instead of the human perspective, because the human, we have our whole belief systems that we have had growing up. This is about seeing things higher, and growing pains and conflict is how we realize things. Otherwise, things just remain running on autopilot below the surface in the subconscious. But when we have something like a resistant child, we're like, and it's like this, I can't look beyond this. It's okay. I'm going to look at this. Thank you for bringing it up. From the surface, there's things here there's a gift in a situation that's showing me how this is for me. And it's going to free me from some stuff, some fears that are bubbling below the surface that have been there since you were a child, that have just been echoing, echoing, echoing. And this is the time to find some freedom, and there is a gift in this for us. It's just once we kind of take some deep breaths and, um, spare people's lives, people don't realize how close they came to death. So it's like, all right, I'm going to step back from all of this and take big deep breaths and go, what can I learn about myself through this? What did I want to see through this? Because evidently I wanted this to happen for me for some reason, or it wouldn't be happening. There's no accidents in life, right? It's like, all right, what's the moral of this story? That's coming in here. I like this for you. You have the page of earth. Yeah. So, like the ace of earth on the bottom, got all these pages. It is a time of you're going to a whole new level in your life here. Um, so, I like this because it is a freer, more joyful place. It's like you're going through the shedding of things here, and the page of earth is like the ace of earth that you had on the bottom, the ace of pentacles, page of pentacles. A new way of looking at your worth in relationship to the outside world is a solid foundation of your worth, and it's just going to this whole new place. So I love that. And then you have the 8 of air and the 3 of water. Yeah. So the 3 of cups, energy that's here, and the 8 of air, 8 of swords energy is that, I love the flowing energy, the awareness of you are becoming even more aware of the thoughts and beliefs and mindsets that made you feel blinded and bound and trapped and restricted and small and powerless. And this 3 of cups is an energy of joy, it is an energy of celebration. And I feel like you're becoming aware of the stuff that has kept you from your joy, and you're realizing that nothing can keep me from my joy except for this story that's up here, right? I like it. If you ever heard of Bashar, Daryl Inca, he channels this entity, extraterrestrial from another system, or I think he's actually in a spaceship somewhere. But there's some great stuff that comes through, some great wisdom through spirit, because everything's a member of spirit. And I like it because he kind of shocks the audience when he's channeling this, and he goes, "Well, life is meaningless here on Earth." And people are like, "What?" And he goes, "What do I mean by that? Now that I get your attention, is that things have no meaning in the outside world. They just are till they get into this noodle, right? We were created to put meaning to what we're experiencing, right? Our human." And we have all these opinions from the past on what things are supposed to mean, should mean, needs to mean, has to mean, blah, 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 right? So, like, excuse me, in the example that you have now of If my son acts a certain way or doesn't act a certain way, says something or doesn't say something, I have a story of good or bad, acceptable, non acceptable, and maybe even below the surface that what they're doing means something about me. When really, that's just an opinion. I get to determine what story that means. So if they say something that's like, "Meow," I can go, "Oh, that means that they hate me, they don't appreciate me, it means I'm not a good mom," or, "Oh my," but there's all this chatter, right? When really a story I could choose instead is, "They're in fear. Let me see," um, and not even do anything about it, like, "Oh, they're in fear." So I can, you know approach it differently instead of reacting because my inner child feels unsafe and out of control. And now my little hissing cat is, I will attack you back, right? There's this great energy of, okay, they're in fear. This isn't about me. This is going on. And go, what's going on? Are you okay? I don't, asking a young man, what are you fearing isn't really going to probably go over well because they're taught kind of like, I fear nothing, But it's we can understand knowing that they're fearing something and going, "So what's going on? What's happening?" You know, and we approach it differently when we don't escalate, when we stay calm, they can come out of their fear, then we can find out what's really going on. Now that they're back in their right mind as a human adult instead of the childlike self, right? So I like this. You're learning a lot about the thoughts and beliefs that have kept you from your joy because we're taught, oh, and that happens. This isn't joy. This is something bad, right? Which is we all have been taught all this stuff, but this is a great flow and awareness. And I feel like this is good news because this is I get to be free from this crap from the past, right? All the stuff that keeps keeping me from my joy, but it's the joy is there. It's just the story doesn't allow it to be joyful. It's putting a sad, angry, lower vibrational story to something when I can see it differently. And that's what that going back to that hierophant, I'm seeing things from a different perspective than the one I've been taught growing up. And it's like, oh, which everyone just regurgitates and passes from generation to generation, kind of thing. So let's see what else we have here. Hey, the 10 of Pentacles. There is this feeling of abundance coming your way, this fullness of life. 10 of Pentacles is a great, full outside world energy. Oh, I love all the ladybugs. I feel like ladybugs are important for you, but I like that. There's this beautiful, even this connection here between mother and child that it can be harmonious. It can feel full when we understand that when if someone else's actions isn't loving, it's a cry for love. And when we realize that everything that everyone else is doing is not about us, they're in themselves. So there you go. Your last two cards, and then we'll pull a fortune cookie here for you. You've got the Knight of Air. Yeah, here's movement of clarity, seeking seeing things from the higher perspective. That's what the Knight of Swords does. Every knight is on a quest. The Knight of Swords is on a quest for the Ace of Swords. So it's seeking clarity, but then in seeing things differently, it allows for smoother communication too. And that helps. I learned on it being coaching and managing escalated call lines and corporate life here and there throughout my careers that if someone calls in yelling back doesn't get anything, remaining calm, not taking it personally, realizing I used to teach my reps this because excuse me, we don't like feeling out of control. So when someone comes in yelling, if I feel they're in control, then I will react and try to be in control. But when I used to tell them, you know, because we were all, had most humans want to be in control, but we had, people that were very wanting to be in control. And I go, if you realize you're always in control, because I could say something to a customer that just makes them spark off, right? Because I can, say, well, if you pay your bills on time, you wouldn't get that cancel notice, right? Instead of, oh, I'm so sorry that you've gone through this. Um, and let's see what we can do for you. And I am so sorry. Allow them to feel in control, even though you're in control. Because at any moment I can push buttons, right? So that's interesting. And you have the chariot card. Yeah, of course. The chariot card is one, it's Cancer Mother Mama Moon energy, but it's also the power of choice. And it's again a movement card. And this brings us back to the power of choice again, that every moment, no one um, is making me feel any way. No one is making me think anything. No one's making me do anything. I'm the one in charge of my life. I'm the one that chooses every moment what story I'm putting to anything, what emotion I am choosing to feel, what energy I'm putting forward and drawing, and I'm choosing what physical actions that I'm making, right? Um, but also I'm free from being responsible for everyone else's. Yeah, we can make it easier or harder for people to choose lower vibration or higher vibration stories, emotions, actions, or whatever. But ultimately, you could give someone the world and they could still choose to be whatever they're choosing, upset or whatever. When you realize, yeah, I'm going to spend my energy focusing on letting go of thoughts and beliefs that don't serve me, choosing higher vibration. If I want, we come here to experience both higher and lower vibration. There is no wrong or right. They're just different experiences, different outcomes like this. I like referring back to this tapestry, because if it was all beige, you wouldn't see a design. If it was all black, you wouldn't see a design. But because of the contrast, you see the beautiful, I feel it's a beautiful design. You wouldn't see it. And so allowing life, you know, to be, and not judging it as good or bad, but judging it as, what am I learning about myself through this? And what am I learning about others through that too? But I get to choose, and everyone else gets to choose theirs. So letting go of control was huge for me in my life. I turned in my little, I used to call it to my God's little deputy. Here, let me help you control the world and make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing. I used to give a lot of unsolicited advice. And I know I don't like getting that. When those mirrors came back, I realized, oh, here you go. Here's my little deputy badge. I'm just going to focus on me. I'm going to sweep in front of my own door. So hopefully that helps a little bit there, Mrs. Coin Crew. Your look, you got Fawn. Of all cards, you got the little baby Fawn, Bambi. Card 15, which is be curious, dear child, and explore the world within worlds. Ooh, let's see what this brings in here for you. Let me just take a quick sip here. Got a little frog of developing here. Excuse me. All right. Let me just throw in a little cough drop here in a second. So this is innocence, learning, educating yourself, and leaping into adventure. So your higher self chose this card because Fawn is a gentle animal energy to work with, but its soft nature does not take away from its powerful wisdom. This woodland creature invites you to explore your innocence and see yourself as a blank canvas on which anything is possible. Excuse me. There we go. A new adventure is waiting, and all that's required of you is a little effort and practice. Soon, a hesitant step on weak legs will turn into a giant leap of strength and graceful power. The fun card guides you to explore new ways to express yourself. You may be considering taking a course, learning a new hobby, going on a physical adventure like backpacking through Europe, or even trying something new in your hometown. No experience will be wasted, as each new adventure will provide more self awareness and sharpen your knowledge of your likes and dislikes and the things that make you feel alive. So sorry. Maybe there's something to do with your throat chakra and speaking your truth, being true to your authentic self. You know, I like that for you too. Deer are always ready to take a leap to get out of danger or pounce on an unexpected opportunity. So remain vigilant and do not second guess yourself when the moment arrives to jump. I like that. You are very welcome. And thank you again for your donation. Hopefully that was a little helpful, bringing a little hope in here, little kind of different perspective on life. But um, I'm beginning a new podcast called The Easier Path, which part of all that is it's like even when life is all shaky bakey and uh, you know just feels unsettling, just know that you are loved. And so hopefully all that helped. So many blessings to you. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you. All right. So, yeah, I'm glad that I took a moment to read that oracle card earlier because I was about to end the session. And then everyone showed up. Hey, everybody. So welcome. So let me grab here. We have Cat Lady of the Sea coming up next for donations. And then Happy Pill. Happy Pill. Let me put it here. Times 4. Thank you for all of those. Then we have Alice. We'll come back around here. Thank you for your donations earlier. Then we've got VD Jalan. Hello, VD. Times 2. All right. All right. And let me just make sure here where we left off. We got those. We got those. Okay. And then we do have some additional free readings. We got Ashish. I will grab yours here real quick. We did those. We did those. We did those. All right. Yup. Cat lady. You're so funny. And hey, Jojo. It looks turquoise, don't it? It's actually green, which is interesting. Let me see here. That's turquoise. And then that's really, really blue. There's pink. Let me go back through here. Oops. We're in green mode today for the heart chakra. I love that I can change colors on it. But yeah, I was noticing it looks turquoise in here, this camera. Oh well, maybe you need your that's your throat chakra turquoise energy. Maybe I need to put it to turquoise to clear up my throat chakra. But thank you guys so much for being here, everybody. I'm so grateful that we're able to do all this together. All right, so let us jump back in here. So, Cat Lady of the Sea, thank you for your donation. Let's grab your timestamp here. And let's give that a love and a like since it lets me. All right. So let us take a look here. So, will Jordan's friends realize your breakup was his fault? All right. Let's take a look here. And all of these. All right. Let's see what all this is about. So we've got the King of Cups on the bottom of the deck with the Elder of Water, which this is an interesting energy on the bottom because what I'm getting from this is, of course, each friend will look at it differently through their own, experiences and their own little perceptions of the world, like we all do, right? We don't see the world as it is; we see the world as we are. So they're all going to have a different perspective based on their own experiences. So the overall energy I'm getting, and as they look at Jordan, they're like, this is what I'm hearing. The dude is trying to get his emotions balanced and under control. He's trying to balance his head and his heart. And I kind of feel like there's this energy of they're used to them doing things their way, you know, which is different, is what I get from the friends. He always does things differently, and they're just kind of like, "All right." They kind of just flow with them because I feel like they've been on a roller coaster through a lot of things in their life. Jordan is their perception, and so they've always done things a bit differently. That's the underlying energy. So weirdly differently, right? Because it's different than we expect it, right? And that's the whole thing is everybody's weird to everybody else when they don't do the way we thought it would be. Even they're reminding me of some friends of mine when they first met. Um, actually, I was one of them was I ended up being one of their supervisors, and she was like, "Oh my god, we got in a fight over how they made brownies. You know that you add the eggs first, not the this." And I'm like, "Well, is that what it says on the box?" And they were like, "Well, no, but my mom taught me this is the way to do it, and they do it this way." And I'm like, "Doesn't mean it's wrong, it's just different." So, and I suggested, "Maybe next time you can ask, 'That's interesting how you're doing it that way. Why do you do it that way?'" Because in trying to and that's like humanity, why we're so much in conflict is because we all believe our way is the way everyone else thinks. But if we are curious in life instead of judging, then we can communicate more. Yeah. And I get it. You know, when and we're taught that other people can cause us are the cause of our emotional choices, but when we realize the pain that I feel is my fear, their action everyone else's actions in the outside world are just neutral, but we have stories that have emotional soundtracks to them that, when when someone rejects us, I'm supposed to, um, you know, we're taught that means something about me. They're rejecting me, and so I, you know, react. But when I realize their choices are about them, not about me, then I don't have to have the impact. And trust me, I had 5 relationships. I felt a lot of pain and suffering and emotional chaos and storms. Eventually, after it all, reflecting, we can get to that point where we realize people's actions or non-actions, words or silence don't mean anything about me. They're telling me about what they're going through. And what's happening inside of us is about me, about my beliefs, my stories, my emotions. And usually it's our pain and suffering comes a lot from us defining ourselves by the outside world, relationships, situations, and things. and we feel unstable, we feel disappointed, we feel all our pain and suffering when we're looking for our worth out here. Eventually, we get tired of that, and when we turn inward and upward, then we find the pricelessness and the eternal unconditional love, our self-love, and then we see the world completely differently when we find that love in here. But the experiences we go through in the outside world all point us inward, right? Karma, the human understanding of karma, when it's rooted in fears, that's how we know if something's human or from creator. When we look at anything, religious texts of all kinds, anything people are doing and everything in the outside world, if it's of unconditional love, that's coming from creator. If there's fear in it, that's from human. It's human belief that's not true. Um, and because I always thought, I grew up, you reap what you sow. You put something out, you're gonna get punished for it. Punishment energy is fear, which is not, that's of human, not of creator. What we focus on is what we get back. That is true. That is how things work. Our energy draws in what we put out. Um, so my energy, not my actions, are what draw things to me, but my energy is what draws things to me. So it's a clarity of that. Karma, from what, just real quick, and we'll go forward here. Because it's really interesting. Because I asked creator, spirit, karma, tell me about karma. What is all this stuff? Is there this karmic debt and you reap what, this punishment and, this recourse to all your actions? And they're like, karma is more curiosity, like from lifetime to lifetime. If you believe in multiple lifetimes, we don't come back to make up for things that we did in the past. Like if I was a slave owner in a past life and I'm a slave in this life, oh look, you got your karma. That's not loving, that's judgmental and, you know, low vibration, right? But if we look at it, I want to see all different perspectives of life. So I was a slave owner in one lifetime. Now I want to see it from a slave's point of view. And then another lifetime, I want to be a townsperson that sees it from the outside world. And then and another one, I want to be a rebel. I'm going to be, the Underground Railroad helping slaves escape. And, you know, it's like I want to see all these different perspectives because we're very curious beings. And something that helped me, with my judgment of my exes, of being cheated on and this and that and everything else, was chances are with as many lifetimes as I've lived, I was that person, you know? And and I'm like, "Oh, you know what? Now I'm experiencing this side of things." So, very interesting when we can step out of our human, um, all the stories that we've been given growing up about what things mean and not mean, should be, not be. And, when we see things from that higher place of unconditional love, we understand that people do things for a reason. They're reacting from a place of fear or from a place of unconditional love in their lives, right? People make choices, people make decisions for themselves, as we do, from either place. And when we're in, when our inner child feels unsafe and out of control, which it's experiencing fear, that's the prick in our heart. That heartbreak we feel is actually fear, just jabbing fear, fear, fear. Their actions mean something about me. I'm never going to find love again. What are people going to think? All the stuff. I know all the stories. I've lived so many of them. I'm like, "Yep, I lived those, I understood that. Oh my gosh. When someone cheated on me, that means I'm worthless. What are people gonna think? They're gonna go, 'What did you do wrong to have them cheat on you or for them to leave you or whatever?'" And that's why, kinda getting to the root a little bit here too of are his friends gonna know it's his fault that this happened? There only needs to be fault when there's judgment. Like, is the jury going to find them at fault and not me at fault? What if there's no fault that needs to be there? It just is, right? There doesn't need to be a fault because I can change my story about what that means. There's no harm, no foul. There doesn't have to be. There can be if we want to experience it, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's part of our journey. I wanted to feel all the pain and suffering I went through because it woke me up like a crazy mofo, you know. Feeling all that stuff so deep showed me these beliefs I had about my worth that I was putting out here. And even at one point in my life, in my early 20s, I was going to kill myself over beliefs, you know. So they can go extreme. So trust me, I know. But of course, this is coming from spirit, but they're bringing all this stuff in. I'm like, I can testify. uh, we can transform these beliefs and free ourselves. But, you know, when we're in the midst of it, it's difficult when I'm in fight or flight mode because my inner child feels unsafe and out of control. There's no growth, there's just reaction. Till I calmed my bohiny down and reflected later, then I was able to look at things from a place of reflection instead of from a place of revenge. So my heart goes out to you. Yeah. So let's see here. These cards in my hand, all of that's the bottom of the deck. We'll move faster now with this. So overall, what is there seen here? We have the Ace of Air. There is clarity there. Elder of Earth, King of Pentacles. And here's a third one too. The Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, and there's again three different energies here, which just show you that everyone sees things differently. Like this Wheel of Fortune one, as soon as I saw it, one of their friends has had horrible relationships, and and I feel like this one is one that used to spend a lot of time with them, and when they got in the relationship, of course, spent less time with them. So they're kind of happy that it's happened, and they don't care who's at fault. Although they blame, they're like, yeah, it's got to be your fault, because that's how they feel about all their relationships. This friend of theirs, that oh, that was always their fault because this person lives in a black and white world. It's all or nothing. It's I'm a victor or a failure. So if my relationship isn't working out, I've got to blame the other person or I'm nothing. So a lot of people will blame other people, right? And this particular friend sees it from that perspective, going, "Yeah, obviously they're at fault. It's always the other person. It doesn't matter, you know, you can't change their stories. You can't control what people think." And I remember a situation, I think it was work related too, because something happened at work and they were like, "Oh, you messed up. This is your fault." And I'm like, "Well, no, see, here's the guidelines. I did this and da 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 da. And we did all this." And they were like, "No, you are fault. It's your fault that this happened." And I'm like, "No, this is the guidelines. Here, let's go show everybody." Because I needed to prove that I wasn't at fault. Because I too lived in a black and white world at one point. It's all or nothing. If I'm not perfect, I'm a failure. And it didn't matter. They said, and when it came out of their mouth, it was a big aha moment in my life. They go, "I don't care what you tell me. You will never convince me that you're not at fault in this." And I'm like, What?" And like you said, it's just not true. In your world, it's not true, but in their world, it can be. They can put whatever story they want, and you can't control that. And what a release it was to realize I can't convince anybody of anything. I can try and I can invest so much energy, but it's exhausting. And when you realize you set yourself free from other people's opinions, you define yourself inward and upward, then you don't worry about all that crap. But and that's the whole thing is you don't, look at our current society. I mean, how divided like the United States is. People are like, "No, you're wrong. No, you're wrong." And it's like, "No, this is what I believe and there's nothing you can say that will change my mind." And like, "Me too." And we're like, if we were curious and we would just ask, "Why do you what's behind all this? What are you fearing?" Or try to understand what people are fearing, what why it matters so much to people, then we can understand it. But when we're taking life personally, which look at our entire world, when we take life personally, then there's war, there's battles, there's um, defensiveness, um, kind of energy. The Elder of Earth, the King of Pentacles, it's like a friend. I feel like it's a couple friends. They're all focused on themselves. They don't even care about what's going on between you guys. They're focusing on my stability, my life. Yeah, 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 whatever. But and it's amazing when you realize a lot of um, things that happen in the world. Um, like when we're we grow up thinking, I wonder what everyone's thinking of me, and we find out most people aren't thinking about us at all. They're thinking about their own selves, comparing themselves to everyone else to wonder, am I lovable? Am I acceptable? And that's what happens when we're defining our worth by the outside world. We're worried about everyone else, what everyone else is doing and not doing, thinking, not thinking, blah, 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 blah. Because we need to know how close am I to being rejected and loved by people and not. And it's like, it don't matter. In the end, it's unstable, fickle. Someone can feel real good right in their life right now, and they think you're wonderful. They could wake up with a hangover and think you're an idiot. And had nothing to do with anything that you did, has to do with their life. Because none of us see the world as it really is. We see the world as we are through our own lens. So we don't see situations clearly. We see situations through our conditioning and through our filter, as well as all these do. I feel like one with the Ace of Air, I feel like one friend will reach out to you to ask for clarity. What happened? Are you okay? Um, but it feels like the majority of them are like, whatever. We've all been through breakups. We've all been through stuff. And we're just like, yeah, we get it. But regardless if they do or not, their opinion is an opinion. What does it matter? They don't define who you are. You define who you are, right? Yeah. Excuse me. Pardon me. Um, yeah. So all these stories, it's I know it's hard right now because you're in the midst of it all. But save these videos. One day it'll all make sense because a belief that he's smearing me, that they think this, that they do that, all of that is taking your energy out there where you're not in control. You're feeling unstable. You know, when we do that, that's how we feel. And when we come back to going, you know what? It don't matter what anyone else thinks because I'm the master of my story, of my emotions, my energy, my actions. And regardless what anyone else thinks, we just can come to this point in our life where we get so exhausted trying to control other people's viewpoint and perception of us. It's like trying to move an elephant around. Ugh, you know, it's like good luck. It's not going to work. Um, you can move you, but you can't move anything else. No matter how hard we try. And, you know, experience is what taught me. And so, you know, That's why, like my podcast coming up, I'm sharing my stories and things I went through and spirit's perspective and different viewpoints, so that you guys can have an easier path instead of a harder path. But I get it. I learned the most the hard way. I like learning the hard way, so I did. And I'm sure people probably told me stuff, all the time, but um, hopefully it brings just a little bit of uh, awareness. I hope. Let's see here. I've got 5 other cards. What was this for? I went totally off track, and I appreciate you so much for sticking in here. All right, let's see what these other 5 cards are. So we've got the Death card, yeah, a death and a rebirth. What else is here? The 4 of air, yeah, rest the mind. Let's see what else we have here. I feel like we need to see all these. Yeah, the 7 of swords, betrayal, lies, deceit. But this also is pointing back to our own. We got the temperance, patience, balance, and the emperor, which they call this the council of monarchs. That's funny. Here's all their friends with all different perspectives: earth energy, fire energy, air energy, and water energy. It's like everyone's seeing things from a different perspective, and and that is everything has a different. It's like someone wearing green glasses, someone wearing red tinted glasses, someone wearing yellow tinted glasses. They're going to see the world completely different. Of course, ours are crystal clear glasses, and we see everything perfectly. Not. We don't. None of us see life clearly. We're all seeing life from our own perspective. And that's what this is coming in here. This transformation comes in here. Your peace of mind comes in when we realize that the source of my anguish isn't out here, it's in here. The story that I'm putting to what's going on out here is the source of my struggle, not what's actually happening in the outside world. I think it was James Allen that said, um, it's not the circumstances that determine how it impacts someone, but the person that's going through the circumstances, because otherwise everyone would always experience everything exactly the same, but we don't. So it's up to the person to determine how they experience things. And I like the clarity that comes in through all of this for you, because like we were talking about with Mrs. Coin Crew earlier, uh, the struggles and the stuff we have that bring this stuff in our face is what brings us the freedom and allows us to have a more peaceful life. Let's see what your fortune cookie brings in here too. You got the Witch's Rosary, which says, craft your skills with intentions repeated, a practice of magic powered by purpose. Ooh, let's see what this is. So this is energy of focus. Here's all the mind, right? Focus, concentration, intention, developing habits, and trust. Says your higher self chose this card because it represents the long road to success that guides you to remain focused and intentional. Your situation is not one that will gain immediate results, but is likely to be rewarding with patience and consistent effort. We just love the patience, don't we? You got temperance in the patience card. The way forward is to be practical, responsible, and committed to mundane tasks that aren't glamorous, but do provide security and stability. You'll receive this card when you're ready to put in the hard work to see your goal through, although it does remind you to avoid perfectionism. Yeah, the all or nothing, right? Habits and skills take time to master, so don't take it too personally if you don't get it right at first. You may follow instructions step by step and find that still something is off. Remember that you can always start from the beginning, retracing your steps until you discover the source of the problem. Which you're like, "That's him, he's the problem." No, the problem is in here. It's like, where are these stories that are this is a this noodle, someone calls it the meatloaf in between the ears. This noodle is the source of our conflict, right? Our inner conflict, which makes it way to the outer conflict. But it says this card also confirms that you're on the right path and you should keep doing what you're doing. You may be frustrated if you're not seeing results, which is why this card has made its way to you. Spirit wants you to know that you have done nothing wrong, but must trust that your work will be rewarded with time. I like that. You've done nothing wrong. And I know this is the hard one. They've done nothing wrong. We always do the best we can with the knowledge and awareness of where we're at in life and the energy that we have in the environment that we're in. He's doing the best he can. His friends are doing the best he can. You're doing the best you can. Your children, your friends, your family, the world is doing the best it can with the knowledge and its beliefs that it has and the emotions and the energetic energy that we're having around us in our environment. So I like that. So hopefully that helps a little bit, my dear. I know it's having been there a few times. I know it's not an easy task, an easy journey. So I send you much love. Hang in there. Be gentle with yourself, and if you can, be gentle with others as much as you can right now. But it's always happening for us. That trust, that's what it was. I was like, what was the other thing you wanted me to say, Spirit? Trust that was there. It's like, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. Exactly. But we can trust Creator. We can trust Spirit that everything that happens in our life in some way is for us. It's for our growth, for our awareness, for us to see life in a different way and to bring us clarity of life. It's always for us, even though it sucks sometimes. So hang in there, my dear. Many blessings to you. Thank you again for your donation. And just hang in there. That's all I can say. All right. You're very welcome. All right. Let me crunch my cough drop here. Shuffle these up. Whoa. Simmer down. All right. So, Happy Pill, you are up next times four. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you so much for your multiple donations here. There is your timestamp. So, let us give a love and a like to the first one here. And he'd like an ancestral message. All right. Let's take a look here and see what do we have here. What do your ancestors want you to know here? We got boom and boom. Don't want that one. I do want this one. Don't want those. I want this one here. All right. It's the energy here. Okay. The bottom of the deck, you have the Judgment card, which is our higher self drawing us to see things from a higher perspective. It's called the Calling card, which, because part of this is like an energy of gaining clarity around how it is you uniquely want to share your heart with the world in your own special unique way kind of energy. And I like this because especially the ancestors, they see the impact of their actions that impacts like 7 generations ahead. And they're like, we put this into practice and it impacted all these generations of them. This is what you're supposed to do and should do and need to do. And this is our dream. We're all farmers. We're all policemen. We're all firemen. It's like there's this. energy of this is what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do things, taught and passed down from generation to generation. But I feel like they're saying here that you are a breaker of chains in this lifetime, uh, because you're catching things earlier in life. Usually we pass on stuff before to children and other people before we do our inner work and realize, oh, wait a minute, I don't have to do things like that anymore, but it's already been passed on. Oopsies, right? But this is you catching it sooner and that you're able to break chains because you're catching it at such an earlier part in your life than the other ancestors. And I feel like they're saying here that this is part of your joy and part of why you wanted to be in this particular family tree in this lifetime. So interesting. Let's see what more of this is about here. If we can find out more about it. Let's make sure it's the same thing. All right. You have the Knight of Fire. Yeah, the Knight of Action, stepping into your power, your fire. This is the quest of I'm choosing. I am the what is it? I'm the author of my fate. I'm the one that gets to choose. I'm the one that gets to I draw life to me. But it's about action and movement and fire and burning away that which is not true to authentic selves and allowing people to more be truly themselves. I love this energy. You have the Nine of Water. Yeah, the Nine of Cups, about what the dream come true is from the heart, not from the head energy coming in here. So I like this. Even got this dragonflies here, which are quicker transformations. Um, Butterflies, of course, go from egg to caterpillar to cocoon to chrysalis to butterfly or moth, right? Well, dragonflies go from egg to nymph. I think they call it a water nymph to dragonfly. They skip cocooning stage. So there is this fast movement energy coming in here that you've been on this faster track in this lifetime that you chose. So it might have been a bit like, whoa, energy growing up, right? Sorry if that was loud. But it's like, wow, you chose this so that you could learn to follow the dream of your heart instead of the expectations of the ancestors in a way, society and family and friend, all that blah blah blah. That you're in this place of breaking a chain and following your heart more than your mind. Yeah, and the Two of Fire, Two of Wands. Here's that energy again of I get to choose what I bring into my life. Whatever I focus on is what grows and expands. If I focus on my fears, I get that. If I focus on my higher vibration, I get that. And I like this again, and this even feels like all your ancestors are watching and supporting you here. You might have crows and ravens or birds, something around that is standing out that's like your ancestors watching over you. Um, and they visit you and so if you haven't noticed, you might start looking around going, "Oh my god, all these birds are watching me." But they are. They're supporting you though. It's not they're watching to see what you do. Well, they do that, but they're doing it with loving, sending you loving energy and support and messages too. So I love that they're helping you break chains of ancestral chains, both about rules and supposed to be's and should be's and breaking traditions, breaking long held, you know, um, beliefs like that. Yeah, in the Page of Earth, seeing your worth in relationship to the outside world in a different way. I like this energy, and it feels like that they're wanting you to know that, and that you are supported in that, and that you're free to, um, do that. So I like that. That you're supported in that, and that no matter what family or society or everyone says, you have the right to do that. I feel like they do want to give you your fortune cookie here too from them. So you get one per session. So this will be your one fortune cookie. But the ancestors go, yeah, we want that fortune cookie to come from this reading. Yep, there you go. Wow. And of course, you get the maple tree, the family tree, right? Excuse me. It says, there is a change coming that is so big it will shift all that exists. Ooh, there you go. You are that change, right? Keywords are good fortune, signs of welcome change, dramatic changes. It's similar to the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, it says. Says your higher self or your ancestors chose this card for you because it is a gloriously happy one that brings with it much improved circumstances and bliss. When you receive Maple Tree, you can expect dramatic change, good fortune, and a positive resolution to your situation. It may feel like the universe is shining down on you and offering an unusual amount of good luck and well wishes. That's all of um, your ancestors. And oh my God, there's the bird. There's a bird there, right there, and there's a bird ring on the finger too. That's funny. Take advantage of this happy energy while you can. Now is a good time to focus on taking action and manifesting dreams. There it is, your dream. Not what other people are saying your dream is, but your dream. If you felt stagnant, receiving this card is a sign that your situation will begin to move forward and will resolve in your favor. Be on the lookout for different or increased opportunities, a financial windfall, meeting someone new who has great potential to be more, a sudden revival of a relationship or career, or a greater sense of confidence, strength, and creative expression. Wow. This card also serves as a yes with an exclamation and is your confirmation that the path you have inquired about is the right one to take. It's the one that's going to bring you the most abundance. Be sure to be generous with what you have. There's no need to give away your life savings or renounce material possessions in the pursuit of charity, unless that's what you feel called to do. But sharing your good favor helps to extend the happy period. The more light you send into the world, the more you can expect in return. Wow, what a powerful message. All the leaves that have fallen from the family tree visiting you, and all those birds again. All right. So that's for number one. And for number two here, let's give that a love and a like. And upcoming months regarding, let's see, upcoming months regarding for the rest of the year. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh, yeah, we just got October, November, December, just 3 months left. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. All right, so let's take a look here. We'll pull a card for October, November, December. October, you get two for October, November. I feel like this one. December, you have two. And then the beginning of next year. What they want you to know there. It's funny, when I got the Nine of Cups, I was thinking about the Nine of Swords. The Nine of Cups is about living your dream from your heart. And I was thinking, oh, so is the Nine of Swords living your dream from your mind? Like, yeah, because it is fears. And you got the Nine of Swords on the bottom of the deck. So I do feel like the remainder of this year is bringing in a lot of clarity around releasing a lot of thoughts and beliefs and mindsets around what the dream come true is. Because it's like you've grown up with people influencing what your dream come true is. So getting out of your head and getting into your heart is like with the next 3 months, this underlying energy is really bringing in here for you. For October, you do have the Six of Air. Yep. Leaving behind old ways of thinking, seeing things from a higher perspective, from the capital T truths of the higher realm. Movement from letting, from like a path of where you were going to a new path, it feels like. Because you got the moon energy here too, phases of the moon, but this is emotional energy. Again, getting in tune with your heart in October allows you to really see things differently And there is this full moon, new moon energy, which we have a new moon in Aries that's coming up, which is a full moon in Aries, which is all about action, taking new action. It's the beginning of a new, zodiac cycle when we hit Aries in springtime, spring equinox in the northern hemisphere back in March 20th. Yeah. So there is this, but the full moon is a letting go. It's a culmination, and this full moon, this moon energy coming in is shining a bright light on things of what you're ready to let go of, so that on the new moon that happens in Libra in October, that there's this planting of new seeds and this beginning of new things. The other side of the scale with Libra energy. Which brings you to November, which is the Six of Water, Six of Cups. Yeah, something that is more returning to like a childlike possibilities energy. Again, a flow of the heart with that Six of Cups that comes in. So it's going back to that place of how children are before adults get in their heads, right? And make them be like, no, that's stupid. You need to think of something more reasonable to do with your life. You can't be an astronaut, or you can't be an alien. you know, that's what I wanted to be when I was a child. I want to be an alien on a spaceship because I love Star Trek and everything as a child. And they're like, "How about you be an accountant? Because you got math skills." Oh, okay. So I had a dream. My dream was to be an accountant. Not to diss accountants at all. But that wasn't my dream. That was my dad's dream that he told me when I was younger. And so I was like, I'm going to be an accountant. And I took my first accounting class and I was like, nope. I like the balancing. I like the numbers. I was talented, but it wasn't fulfilling in here at all. And I feel like that's what's coming here is you're returning back to this. This isn't my dream. What's my heart's dream? And there's this flow of it into November. December, you've got the Council of Monarchs. You got the Emperor energy here along with the Hermit. Yeah. There is this stepping away energy in December, inward and upward with the Hermit, but also, again, Aries energy with this um, Emperor energy, which I talk about it. You probably have heard me say this before, but the Emperor energy is like having a whole throne room full of all these chattering people with all their opinions on what the empire should be and what the emperor should do and shouldn't do and who they should marry and blah 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 blah. Blah. There's all this stuff, right? Everyone has their opinion about what the emperor should and shouldn't do. And the emperor's like, wait a minute, I'm the emperor. Everyone clear the throne room, leave your opinions in that box on your way out the door. Thank you for all your advice and opinions, but now I'm going to decide what is it that I want. Then I put a plan together and then I go forward. So I feel like this October, November is you really getting into knowing what's in your heart about what you want to do with your life. And December is putting a plan together with you stepping back and going, okay, now that I have a better understanding of what I want, and I'm, you know, trying to keep all these other thoughts out of my head. Now I'm going to plan how I want to move forward in the next year, which your card here is the Chariot, my power of choice. Movement, victory, Cancer moon energy again coming in here behind the surface of the Chariot card. So I feel like that's what these 3 months, the focus that they're wanting to bring to your awareness is on that. It's funny because that kind of builds on what your ancestors said too. And don't worry about what all the family thinks or what everyone else thinks. You're supported in a change of career or change of how you're wanting to express this gifts and talents and love in your heart with the world in your own special, unique way. Right. So that's what they have for that one for you. Right. And then number 3, again, thank you for all your multiple donations here. Um, and Marissa Smith, if you are still here, yeah, of course you can ask a question. Just You never have to ask. I appreciate you being um, polite and asking, but you can just put it out there. So you never have to wait for me to answer because sometimes I don't see it. Like that was like an over an hour ago. You're probably not here anymore. If you are, please put your question down below. All right. Sorry, Happy Pill. So next year reading quarter wise. Oh, look at you. I love that. I'm going to take a quick sip here. Cheers to everybody. All right. Pardon me. All right. So first quarter. Okay. Thank you. Boom, boom. Second quarter. One. Third quarter. One. Fourth quarter. Four. All right. And yeah. And then the underlying energy for the entire year. Oh, I love it. Is going to be the bottom of the deck, which the reason I love it is you got the Empress. I love it. This is all about birthing new things, harvest, victory, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, nurturing yourself, and the Empress. And you got the Emperor right underneath her, too. So you've got both. This was the card of you deciding what you want and putting a plan and going forward. And here's the fruition of it because she's pregnant. Has this energy coming forward here of both the divine masculine and feminine energies. But the Empress, I was going to say, like the Emperor rolls over all the four monarchs here, the four kings. The Queen, I mean, not the Queen, the Empress rolls over the four queens. And all the queens um, give the Empress cups energy because every queen has cups behind the scenes, emotional energy. Then the Queen of Cups gives another one. So 5 parts emotion, 1 part fire, 1 part earth, 1 part air, right? So again, this is a year of expressing your heart to the world and creativity with the Empress number 3. You creating something, you bringing in your creativity, you expressing your heart and creating this next year. I love it. First quarter, yeah, you've got the Lovers card and the Seven of Water. More emotional water energy coming in here. So very much there is this, so many choices. What am I going to choose out of all the things from my heart? Pick one, the emotional choice energy here, and not fearing here, the emotional choice energy of the Lovers is I get to choose how I feel about anything. I can't control how anyone else feels about it, but I get to control my emotions. So it doesn't matter what's happening out here. I get to choose how I feel about it, right? So I like this energy. It feels very igniting, very powerful, a lot of emotional expression energy here. But I do feel like you have like, because the Seven of Cups has 7 stars here, that there's like 7 things that I want to do. But this one, where's your heart leading you? Follow that. And then your heart leads you to the next one, to the next one. Whatever appears to be the brightest to you, right? It's like, where's your heart leading? Follow that, right? Then the second quarter, you've got the Page of Earth. So there is already in the second quarter, you have fruition of your labor here with the Page of Earth, the Page of Pentacles. So you are seeing things differently, but you're getting a lot of this fruit in the outside world already with your change here. It's positive energy. It's also an energy in the second quarter of you seeing your worth in relationship to the outside in a different way, meaning you're finding your worth in here and not so much out there, but you're seeing the abundance out there that comes in as a reflection of finding your worth in here. So hopefully that makes sense. Rewatch that. Third quarter, you got the 6 of Water. Here's the 6 of Cups energy. Again, this dream come true, like a child's dream come true, returning to that place of possibilities in the third quarter. We got that in this second reading, right? So it is about not allowing other people to restrict you, going, well, that's impossible. And you're like, inside you can say, for you, but for me, I'm not letting anything not be possible. I'll find a way, right? I love that energy, that go-getter energy that's there. And then the fourth quarter, you have the 6 of Fire and the World card. You can't make this up. So victory in the fourth quarter next year, and the world card is a victory energy too. So two of the victory energies, um, flow energy of the Six of Wands, but the world card is an ending of a major cycle, the beginning of the next adventure. So you get a lot of fruition, you get a lot of fullness then, and then you are ready to move to a new level, of course, the next year. So I feel like you just feel like, what a year I've had. The fourth quarter just brings in that sense of abundance and fullness, for you there. Sounds like a great year. Right. So that is what they have for your third one. And then number four, we'll give that a love and a like here. And you want career and personal life advice from your angels. Let's grab your free reading here too. We'll put on the free list here while I have it there. All right. So, career and personal life advice from your angels. So, career. I feel like I feel like these last three have been all about your career. So we'll see what else they have here as a card comes dropping out of the deck. I feel like that they want one for that, and then I feel like they want to focus in on personal life advice. They're like, see previous, yeah, see previous readings for career. Let's see what we got here. Yep, Knight of Fire. Yeah, so here's one of those. This goes back to the ancestral one of fire movement, seeking your power here regarding your career. You even got the Six of Air, which you got in one of your readings too, Six of Swords. Leaving behind old ways of thinking, moving into new ways of thinking, um, transition, transformation kind of energy that comes in there. Sorry, I don't think you guys can probably hear that. Picking that up on the microphone. Sounds like we got fighter jets, probably from the Air Force Academy here in Colorado Springs, flying around out there. Probably preparing for a graduation or an air show. This is September. I don't have graduation, so it must be an air show. Anyway, a lot of noise and fly high. That's what they're saying here. And it's funny that all of this on the behind looks like little jets flying around. Fly high. All right. But I feel like that's what it is around career, is finding out what is it that where's your heart leading you with career. All those past three readings I feel were really focused on living your dream of your heart. And I feel like it was leaning more towards career, though you could apply also personal life to that. But I feel like it's that. Here, I gotta adjust here. Slipping off my chair. Yep. Ready for a change, ready for an adjustment, right? So I feel like it does apply to both here. For your personal life, the energy on the bottom, yeah, you got the Page of Earth here too. Looking at your worth in relationship to the outside world. So I feel all three of those last, it applies to career and your personal life too. Because with that coming out underneath, these are two of the big cards you got about change and seeing yourself differently, not defining yourself by family and ancestry and all this, but that you get to choose who you are in this lifetime and that your worth comes from in here, not out here. So you really are in this transformative place. And as you're making these changes, your idea of what you want to do and where you want to go will change too. So I like that. Let's see what these five cards are about your personal life too. Queen of Earth, yep, Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, another one of those like Empress energy here. So there is growth, there is this focusing in on you and who you are. Again, the grounding of your worth from the inside. Um, Doing what you want to do for you and not sacrificing yourself for everyone else, I feel is advice from them on your personal life. Because we can be an overgiver where we give everything away, and if there's any crumbs left over, that's for us. No, this is about you becoming a chalice. You fill up first, everyone else gets the overflow. The greatest gift you can give the world is a healthy, full, overflowing you, not a exhausted, bitter, because that's what happens when we're a barrel and we're giving everything else to everyone else. We give and we give and we give till we're exhausted, and we give and we give until we're resentful. That was bitter, resentful. We don't want that's water. We want the nectar, the sweet nectar of the gods that overflows out of a chalice when we're full. And I feel like that's an important thing for your personal life. Yeah, Ace of Water, Ace of Cups, your self love. That's all this is. It's realizing that every relationship you have in the outside world is a reflection of your inner love. And it is that. So there's this energy of turning inward and upward and raising your love vibration, letting go of old thoughts and beliefs that don't serve you anymore, emotions that don't serve you anymore, energy that doesn't serve you anymore, and even things in the physical world that don't serve you anymore. Purge, purge, cleanse, cleanse. It brings in flow. It brings you to this beautiful place. But your journey adventure is finding love in here, and every relationship in the outside world is pointing us back here. I like that. Good advice. And then you have the Empress again coming in. So here's all this Mother Nature, Mother Nurture. You, focus on you, not out there, in here, inward, upward. It's all this time right now. They're pointing you back for your personal life. Is everything happening is for you to show you more about what you want to see about yourself. So come back, sweep in front of your own door. You don't need to be out there trying to help other people, control other people, change people, fix people, situations, whatever. That is what it is. It's coming back to here allows you that fullness here. Another jet going over. Hopefully, don't know if you guys are hearing that. And then you have the star card. Yeah, what is your true dream come true? That's the star card. Wishing upon a star. What is your true dream come true? Again, all this focus on here and the emperor. Emperor and empress came out again after I put them all in separately, shuffled the deck. They still came out together here. So all of this is a culmination. They're like saying, let's look back at the, previous readings and all this, but this is a period of time. All of that is pointing you towards yourself. And with this 10 of wands on the bottom too, it's about taking in an inventory of where you're investing all of your energy, your mental energy, your emotional energy, your physical energy, your spiritual attraction energy too. And your ancestors are saying hi, the candle was going um and just realizing, where am I investing my energy? What is my why? Because sometimes we'll find ourselves focusing on so many things that we feel like we're supposed to, but this is all about coming back to you and investing energy in your dream, withdrawing energy from all these other places so that you can move forward. So I like that for you. Right. So that's what you have for you, Happy Pill. So hopefully that brings you some good guidance. Thank you again for your donations. I greatly appreciate those. All right. So we're continuing down the list here. Let me just grab a quick sip here. I'm sorry that if that's so loud when I'm coughing or clearing my throat. I try to be more. I should do an ASMR video one these days, really quiet. Be hard for me. All right, so Alice, you are up. Whoops, try that again. There we go. Here's your third donation, but second timestamp, because we did two together the first time. Oh, actually, I should do that a little differently for the afterwards. The first one was for the 2, and the second one is for the 1. All right, there we go. For the pinned comment afterwards. So thank you for the piece of pie. Did you hear my stomach growling? I'm starting to get hungry. So, what kind of vibe do I generally give off to other people? All right, we'll see the overall consensus here. And thank you for your additional donation as well as the pie icon there. Because, of course, everyone sees life through different perspectives, right? So everyone sees life so differently. There's this, I think it was a Facebook post. It said, there's 1,000 different versions of you, probably more, right? Of us out there because everyone sees us differently. Even the idea that we see of ourselves isn't accurate. Everyone has, it's all seeing the world through the conditioning, through whatever colored glasses we're wearing is how we see the world, right? Um, so there's a wide variety of different, vibes that people pick up because it depends on, of course, their own vibe, right? So let's take a look here and just see here if there's like what they want you to know. Like, what is the general consensus here? Let's see what we got here in this one here, and this one here. All right, some different viewpoints. We'll see what we have here. I know, happy pill, right? I don't know what my dream come true. I feel like a big message that was coming through there. Sorry, Alice, we will get to your reading here. Um, is follow your heart. Like they said with that 7 stars, it's like it's more so I feel like the rest of this year is getting out of your head and connecting with your heart and then following the heart. Where's your heart leading you? It may not be like your heart's not going to say the final destination is this. It goes, for now, let's go this direction. Like, all right, let's go that direction. Then your heart will lead you in this direction. Then you'll go this direction. So it's kind of an adventure more than a task. Like, okay, this is what you're gonna do, and it's let's go here for now. And it's being okay with that, not needing to figure out the rest of your life, right? I know. I used to love a plan. Now I'm more go with the flow. All right. So Alice, I feel here on the bottom of the deck we have the Ace of Pentacles. I like a good reminder here on the bottom of the deck that this is of course a a different way of looking at our worth in regards to the outside world is a big message that comes in with the aces, the pages, even the Knight of Pentacles. It's the search, the quest of how do I see my worth? So they're like the outside world, we're taught defines us, right? What other people think of us defines us. It's like, no, it's just information. And what other people think of us is more of information for us on how they think about themselves because we're a mirror. So whoever's looking into us is what they see. So a rhino sees a rhino, a monkey sees a monkey, a giraffe sees a giraffe. I like it when they say that because it's like it don't matter what you are, it matters who's looking in the reflection of the mirror you are, and you can't control, any of that, any of that perception, right? We can try to influence it, but ultimately we could give someone the entire world and they could still think we're a jerk, right? Or they could still be unhappy too. So with themselves, because it's a reflection of what's going on inside of them, right? So that's good to know. Just as that here, I feel like you have 4 different reflections coming in here, is what they're giving here. So the generally what people you're there see you as someone. Or a few people see you as with the Fool card here. Not that you're a fool. This is like someone who looks at life as full of possibilities. They, because it feels like you're on these adventures. They see you as you're always starting something new and going on these adventures, and you don't let anyone stop you. You don't let people hold you back. You, um, and they like that. They would say, "I wish I could be that way." And they can, but their fears hold them back, whereas you're like, I feel like you've restarted and rebooted your life several times. And you're like you'd be like, "Yeah, I'll sell everything and take a luggage to Hawaii and I'll buy things there when I get there, but that's what I'm gonna do. I'm moving, everybody, bye." People are like, "What?" I just feel like that's the way they perceive you as someone that's ready for new adventures and that's not afraid to let things go to start something new. So I like that. Number two energies, we've got the Lover's card. Yeah. If there's a lot of people that feel important to you, and you just have that heart, you just have this energy, whether it's people that you hang out with, like a small group often, or people that you see every few months or once a year, you always make this little group of people here feel like I am special because you remember things, and it's as if you just saw them yesterday, even though it's been a year. You really put people at ease. This vibe you put off here is you um, help them, you make it easier for them to choose to see that they are important. And I like that, you know. It doesn't have to be romantic. It's friends, family, whatever kind of energy here. I feel like it's more so that. That's what they're bringing in back a memory because this is kind of the energy. Because a friend of mine, they started dating someone, and they said, "Oh, I met someone." I'm like, "Oh wow, I'm so happy for you." I go, "What are they? You know, what are they like? What's going on?" They're like, "Let me just put it this way: they make it an easier choice for me to enjoy my life." And I like that. And that's kind of the energy I feel like you get here is you make it easier for people to choose happiness when they're around you. That vibe you put off. It's not everyone, but there is a group of people there. That's what they were saying. It's not everyone. Say like, well, what about them? And you're like, well, not them. But there's a group of people that feel that's like the different viewpoints, right? Then the third group here, you've got the seven of fire, seven of wands, and the Ace of Water, the Ace of Cups. This people really see you as you here with the Ace of Cups. This is about your self love. They're like you really not like you really love yourself. No, they like you have a lot of self love. And the Seven of Fire, Seven of Wands is about being true to your authentic self too. You shine almost like the Full card a little bit, but you don't ask permission to shine, you don't dim your light. This is these people's perception of you. Um, you don't feel the need to defend your choices and decisions and stuff. It's like the sun, just shine bright, and people envy that of here, and they're like, "Wow, I really, really wish I could have that." Again, there's this energy of, "I wish I could have that." It's like you can. Um, you didn't get to this place in your life willy-nilly and just, "Oh, yeah, it was easy." You have done the work. You've done your reflection to get to where you're at, and they can have it too. But I like that, there's this sense of so far all of this is like freedom and unconditional love and love of life and brightness, right? And then you have the fourth card, well, which is also Knight of Water, movement of emotion. There's something about singing a song or following your heart, expressing yourself. It's like the song within you that desires to be sung is important. And this is the kind of feels very it feels like this isn't a ton of people, but it does feel like you coming across as like an artist, you coming across as someone that expresses themselves and um, like that it's important to express your heart. It's important to tell people how you feel. It's important to let your heart, don't die with an unsung song in your heart kind of energy. Um, so I like that. So those are the kind of energies, the vibes. You see how they're kind of similar, like brightness there and expression there, but that people have a different twist and a tint on it depending on what they've gone through, of course, too. So I like that. All right. So that is what they have for you, my dear. Thank you again for your multiple donations. I greatly appreciate those. Excuse me. All right. So, Vidi Jalan, you are up. Thank you for your dual donations. This will be times two. There we go. So let's give your first one a love and a like here. All right. There we go. And I am well. I hope you're doing well, Vidi. Hello, hello, Vidi Jalan. So changes and guidance coming for you in any aspect of your life for the month of October, or just whatever messages want to come through for you. All right. Very cool. And then another question dropping it below. All right. We'll do that one here in a sec. Alrighty. Sorry, let me take another sip here. All right. Thank you. What else for the month of October? Okay, we got those. I think we got this one and this one too. And this one. All right. Yeah, so for the month of October, the first card that made itself known, the Ace of Air, came flying out by itself. That's a lot of clarity that's coming in here for the month of October. The bottom of the deck, you do have the Four of Earth, Four of Pentacles, which is my home card, can represent four walls in the outside world. But there is clarity around location. We'll see what else we come in with these other cards here. You do have a progression of 3, 2, 1 after this. So there is something that you're whittling down as far as clarity around choosing something in the physical world. It almost feels like home or residence, or where you want to live, where you want to work, where you want to reside. Kind of this energy, and it feels like you're whittling down your choices here. Could be about work too, because sometimes that represents, where we work and the foundation. The Four of Pentacles can be the foundation of our outside world. So foundation can be home, but it also can be like, where's my source of income, where I want to work, that kind of thing too. That kind of energy. Let's see with the three cards. It came out interesting because the three cards are one up here with two underneath, then 2, 1. It's still progression, but I feel like the main thing is the Nine of Earth. Yeah, Nine of Pentacles. Again, this independence in the outside world can be hermity type of energy in October, where you kind of feel pulled back a bit more, spending time with spirit, really focusing on what is my external dream come true energy, my finding my independence, external energy. The two cards below that are the Tower. Yeah, this movement of something out of my life that doesn't serve me anymore. And the Three of Fire, the Three of Wands, which is bringing me into a different direction. So I like this clarity that's coming in here. And it's because it starts off that, when something is removed out of our life, it creates the space and the awareness of for something that's more in alignment for what we are truly wanting, and clearing the path to move forward. And the Three of Wands, the Three of Fire, is with new information, I'm choosing to go a different direction than I would have gone. So I feel like there is some little shaking and rattling going on, but I don't feel like the Tower card is something that is happening in your life. Excuse me. It's something that you're initiating. So, because I don't feel like it's something that gets like, oh my God, it got removed out of my life. It's like you're shoving it out of your life to make space for this newness that comes in. Let's see what else is here. The two cards, Page of Earth. So here's more Page of Pentacles and Knight of Earth. A lot of this earth energy. So October at this point feels like a lot of action and focus on the outside world, of change, of new opportunities. The Knight of Earth by itself is the slowest moving knight. They're on a quest for finding their worth in relationship to the outside world in a different way, but it's also the slowest moving knight. So it could be the this journey. There's the slowness, there's this taking time here for this new opportunity to pop in, or it has been taking time, feels more right. That it's been taking time, and now here it is. October is the fruition. It comes in here, something you've been thinking about and doing it. But I feel like it is an action month for you in relationship to that outside world. Which leads you to the Queen of Earth. Yeah, Queen of Pentacles. All this Pentacles, the earthy energy. That is Mother Nature, Mother Nurture, new birth, new harvest, following your heart, doing things and making decisions for you on what you're wanting, creating something, creating change in the outside world as well. So I feel like that is like October coming in there, at least one big thing they want you to be aware of. We'll do a fortune cookie for you there too. Get one per session. So it'll be for this one. Your second one won't have a fortune cookie, but all right. You got the apothecary cabinet, the number one, start of something new. Excuse me. It says, without practice, without befriending them, they are strangers in your path. Interesting. Let's see what that brings in here. Keywords are tools, a need to develop skills, and hard work. Ooh, okay. So your higher self chose this card because your journey is just beginning. Can't make it up. Even if it feels as though you have walked this road for ages. There's that Knight of Pentacles, right? I'm so sorry. There must be something in the air. Clearing out my sinuses. Or you're clearing out stuff, right? You're ready to speak your truth and be authentic. There are skills, resources, or tools you need before you can begin the work of calling in those big dreams. For example, when attempting to manifest more wealth, consider whether you need to overcome limited financial stories or destructive money habits that are sabotaging your efforts. Receiving a loving partner may be blocked to you until you do inner work on loving yourself. Experiencing supportive friendships may require you to eliminate relationships that are toxic and draining. Taking the time to do this inner work now will save you many days, months, or even years of starting over. Your soul has selected this card to gently encourage you to be honest about where you are in your journey and what's realistic needed to begin to see results. All transformation begins with awareness, and starting where you are is the first step towards a radical shift in your situation. It's like summary of your reading. Your life could be completely different 6 months from now with the right tools at your disposal and a willingness to do the work. Let's see, that says if we pulled a different card, which we didn't. All right. Okay, yeah, this other stuff is if you chose this card, other card. So that's the energy of those. So I love that. So all the tools, all your toolkit helps you towards your dream. And it could be that this is what's been taking ages to get here. You've been doing inner work, you've been doing the things, you're about to see the fruition of your labor, and you're about to make some changes. So I like that. All right. So that's for your first one there, VD. Excuse me. And for your second one, let's give that a love and a like too. And what sort of vibe or energy are you being perceived by people, strangers and known ones? Not trying to associate yourself with anything. Just curious. Okay, good. Of course, if you're listening to Alice's one that we just did before your first one there, we talked about a bit about that too, which you might already know all that. But it's a good reminder. All right. So the overall kind of energies of strangers, what kind of energy do people tend to pick up from you? Stranger danger. No, I'm just kidding. Stranger danger. And then the people that are known. feel like we move into kind of like it overlaps a bit. And I feel like these three. All right. All right. So the bottom of the deck, it's funny that you get the Knight of Pentacles, which is an energy of patient, right? Patient. It's someone that, um, there's movement. You don't move fast in things. It feels like you're patient. You like to slowly build things, not just rush and leap, because it's like you're perceived as someone who is careful, that doesn't that believes that things quickly built fall apart quickly. Things slowly built last for a long time. So there's that kind of energy that comes across. um I feel like that's the underlying energy. It's a big underlying energy. People are like, wow, you're just kind of like, you let people go before you. You don't, you don't like I feel like that kind of energy, just kind of calm, grounded energy, is what people tend to get. Um, Something else that's shared between both of them is the Two of Swords. Conflicted, that that you're conflicted. No, that you see, you can. I like this. It's normally conflicted energy. That's why I said it with the Two of Swords. It's kind of like this. Um, It could be indecisive, it could be, conflicted between my head and my heart, but I feel differently here. I feel like you see things from different perspectives, that you're open-minded, and that you're curious, that you'll allow, people to have their opinions, and you, instead of trying to convince them to think your way, you just more ask them about why they think what they're thinking. Oh, that's interesting. Where's that coming from? And blah, blah, blah. That's so I kind of feel like that's the kind of energy that comes in here. From strangers, these two cards are from strangers. The Eight of Fire. That's interesting energy, and Judgment. Both of these are about kind of like seeing things from a different perspective. And the Eight of Wands is energetic. So I like that. It's not that you're slow and that you're like a sloth where you move really slow, like they show in the cartoons. I'm just doing this. What's going on? You know, it's just you're careful and you take your time, but you're energetic. But both of those together are also from strangers. I feel like they get a perception, something around your energy. Like they just feel like you know stuff that you shouldn't know. And I feel like your intuition and stuff really kicks in, and you tend to be able to, um as I pull up my socks, sorry. Um like you're able to see, like step in people's shoes, like see things from people's perspectives. That Two of Air is there still. But this is about, you're able to like put yourself in other people's shoes. And they're reminding me, um, when I was younger, in like my teens is when it started. I would have people just talk to me about stuff that they wouldn't talk about with anyone else. They just felt comfortable. And also, um, I felt I could put myself in other people's shoes and it could relate to people. But then it started to be where I started to say stuff, and people were like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" Because I thought I was like, "Oh, I know. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from." It's like if like let's say you find out that your boyfriend's cheating on you with someone else, um, it kind of feels like that. And they're like, "Who told you?" And you're like, "What?" "That's what I'm talking about. They cheated on me." And I'm like, "Oh, wow, sorry, no. I thought I was just pulling it out of the air." But it's like, no, you were pulling it out of them. And I feel like that's what kind of happens here. And people get that perception of strangers from you, a little bit of like, you're a bit mystic and mysterious kind of energy. From people that know you, you have the Eight of Air. And the Eight of Air here is about, movement of thought and belief. The people who know you know that you've really worked on letting go of fears and thoughts and beliefs that haven't served you anymore. And I feel like the vibe that you've been given off is that you're always learning, you're always wanting to grow, always wanting to be aware of mindsets that don't serve you anymore. And I feel like that's where that curiosity comes in below the two of air because it's like underneath there. But I feel like they're like, yeah, you are always wanting to understand things so that you could evolve in a way. And I like that. That's good energy. What else? And the eight of earth, these eights. You had the eight of fire, the eight of air, and now the eight of earth. Eight of pentacles is that you're willing to put in the blood, the sweat, the tears. Um, you're not afraid to work. And all these eights are you're a very flowing person, which makes sense. Like I said, you're easygoing and patient. That Knight of Earth on the bottom of the deck kind of brings that in that they see you as someone who um, doesn't try to control and blah 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 blah. You just kind of flow, and people like that. So get that, and then the last three cards you have are, yeah, the Four of Air, Four of Swords, which is a peace of mind, and again, it's not a lot of I was going to say not a lot of expectations of what people should and shouldn't do kind of energy comes in here because it's very much you try to see things from a higher perspective, try to understand people. You give people the benefit of a doubt in a way, kind of energy where it's like, whoa, what are they doing? And then you try to understand why they're doing what they're doing. Not you don't just go to judgment. You're just like, whoa, what's happening? Okay, wait. Why is this happening? Kind of energy. You got the Chariot, yeah, the power of choice. There is Chariot card energy. I mean, Chariot, Cancer, Moon energy, right? Underneath here, Mother Nature, Mother Moon, a lot of carrying emotional energy, but the power to choose. And I like that energy here. Let's see what else is here too. Yeah, the Queen of theirs. Here's the Mother. I had said Mother Nature. So we got this mothering energy. So you do come across as a nurturing person, not a mother going, you need to do this and this and this and this, but a nurturing individual, full of a lot of that love that's there. So there you go. A little bit of tidbits. It's of course not all inclusive, but that's a big piece of the energy that consistently I feel like a lot of people do pick up there. So that's what they have for you, VD. Thank you for the questions and the donations. I really appreciate those. All right, so that is it for my donations. I just have a couple more free readings, so I'm going to finish those out here too. Let me just see here. Okay, we did. We got grabbed that. All right. And Swaroop, grab Swaroops here. I did complete a few of the free readings already earlier, so timestamps will be here for everyone when I finish here in a moment. So it started off, I thought it was going to be like an hour session. Suddenly turned into 3.5 hours. So thank you guys so much for being here. I was worried about everyone. I go, has everyone been kidnapped? What's happened? So thank you guys so much. It's it just ignites appreciation. Sometimes we start getting used to people being around and showing up and being present and all your donations and all of that, we can kind of get used to things. Not that we're not appreciating it. It's just like Pikes Peak here. When you live here, you're just like, oh, there's Pikes Peak. When you move away and you come back, you're like, oh, how beautiful. Then you get used to it again. So a big thank you. I do appreciate everyone here. And thank you for all the thumbs up too. All right. So Ashish, you are up. We had 323, 33. Look at all these threes and twos and threes. So you always have a fire burning inside of you to have a happy and successful life. Will it happen? Let's take a look here. It's funny, a little notification just popped up on my computer. It does a little weather. It says, hi, UV. There you go. Hi, Ashish. You're out there with high UVs coming from the sun, right? All right, say click here. So based on your current energies, let's take a look here. Happiness and success. What does they want you to know here? I figured you're going to get the Two of Wands energy, which is about where you focus your energy is what unfolds, right? And the Queen of Air, the balance between the head and the heart. This tells me here that um, you have no choice. We have no choice. If I have a fire burning inside you where my energy, I am focusing on gratitude for what I do have in my life right now, like my happiness that I have in this moment, the success I have in this moment. If I'm grateful for that, then I will draw all more and more and more of that into my life, right? If I have a fire burning inside of me of a desire for, a need for, a want for, I push it away, right? So when you're saying your fire, if it's a fire of gratitude, like I'm happy, you know, in this moment, it just draws it in. But that is a lack energy of if I'm like, I want so much for my life to be happy and I want so much of my life to be successful, I'm pushing it away from me because my energy is that of lack. And when I focus on lack, I get more of that. So an example can be like, so happy, you know, if I have my happiness attached to an outcome, like this and this and this and this need to happen, then I can be happy, then that's lack energy. That's I'm not focusing on the happiness that's available to me right here in this moment. Realizing I have everything I need inside of me right here, right now. I have creator, I have the spirit world. I have everything I need right here, right now. I'm everything. I don't need to become more or to have anything to be happy. I can be happy right here, right now. And as I'm celebrating the happiness and the gratitude for the things I love in my life, the things that I'm happy for in my life right now, I just attract more of that to me. Success. If I'm like, what's my definition of success, right? I'll be successful when that's lack energy. I'm going to be pushing it away and I'll never be happy. I'll never be successful, feel successful. I'll never feel happy. I'll never feel successful. Because right now you're happy and successful. You just may not realize it yet, right? We all are. We're all happy and successful. Just our story is going, I can't see it until I remove the blinder of these beliefs that these things have to happen in order for me to be happy and successful. So make those lists. What helped me in my life is make that list of what I need in order to be happy, what I need in order to be successful, then question those beliefs. Because in freeing yourself from those, you'll be happy and successful. So hopefully that helps there, Ashish. But I love it because you are. You're happy and successful right now. Trust me, you really are. All right. So many blessings. All right. Happy Pill, you're up. You got 32737. Look at those repeating numbers. I love that. And then why are you feeling choked in my throat? Well, I was feeling choked in my throat too today. Maybe there's something to do with the energies, but let's take a look. We'll find out here. I'll take a sip of coffee so I don't feel choked in my throat. All right. Okay. One of those. This one here. All right. Is it the throat chakra? Yeah. So you've got the six of water, the six of cups that's here, and the Empress energy here. Here's that creativity and the six of waters. These are like the dream come true energy, right? So you can think of the throat chakra also if you hold your arms out. Make sure not good stuff around. If you hold your arms out, they're also at the same um, location as your throat. So the throat chakra is about speaking our truth, but it's also about acting on our truth, our authentic self. And I feel like your throat feels choked because you feel restricted, like someone's choking you. But that's that feeling of I'm not being able to express my true self. I'm not able to speak my truth, act on my truth. I'm trying to fit in and speak for the small t truths that I've been given in my life, not the capital T truths of who I really am. So I like this. And this goes back to the Six of Cups, six childhood, how you felt from a very early age suppressed and told who you were supposed to be. And this Empress is all about creativity and letting the real you out and nurturing yourself and being the mother to yourself as well. Because that's here's mommy in with baby in there, and here's mom and child, right? So there's all this about you reparenting yourself, you being that parent that you're always looking for, that would offer you unconditional love, unconditional acceptance, unconditional time that conditional physical parents can't give us, but we as ourselves can become our own parent, give us what we think we missed when we were younger growing up, and we can be that. So I like that for you. So hopefully that helps, Happy Pill. So many blessings to you. All right. Hey, Olivier. Oh, very good. Boom. Thank you. All right. And then lastly, but not leastly, we have Swaroop Bobby. Let's grab yours here. Boop, boop, boop. And what's coming towards you in the next week? All right. Whoops. These cards flying out. Let me reshuffle these here. I think that was the last one here, right? 100%. You're so funny. Love you. All right. Let's take a look here. So, Swaroop, what's coming towards you this next week? Swaroop, 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 Swaroop. Nope, not those. I feel like there's some sort of block in the middle of the week that you'll get beyond. Don't pay much attention to it. Don't give it energy that it doesn't need. Because you had one card and then there was these two cards, and I'm like, no, that's not what I want. And underneath it was this card. So I feel like there was something that was kind of trying to get in the way of seeing the message in the middle of it. So that's why I feel like in the middle of the week, just be aware of an obstacle. You do have the Two of Fire, Two of Wands. I love that for you, along with the Three of Water, Three of Cups. Joy, joy, joy energy. What's coming towards you this next week with the Two of Wands is whatever you focus your energy on, which I don't know if did we get this for you before? I just feel like when I get this type of message with this type of question, it generally is, and I'm getting this emphasis on that, like your astrological energy and all the planets are in alignment with whatever you focus on comes in fast and bigger than normal. Higher vibration stuff comes in fast, lower vibration stuff comes in slow. Higher vibration stuff is usually bigger. Lower vibrational stuff is like, you know, but I feel like both are coming in fast and big, like fast, fast, and faster. So be aware of the energy, whatever you're investing in, because if you focus on higher vibration, you're going to get things that match that. So gratitude, unconditional love, joy, joy, like the Three of Cups, joy, laughter, um, I don't know, play, all that is high vibration energy that just draws in more of that. If you focus on your fears and lack and want and need and what you don't like about things, then you get more of that. So be really aware this week because it is a big, big attraction week for you. Fast and big energy coming in. The Three of Cups also has to do with like your social groups. Um, so I feel like you'll have a get together if you don't have one planned already. One is coming, an invitation, and I feel like it'll bring you joy. It'll allow you just to let some stuff go, and you'll come out of that gathering feeling full, feeling abundant. So go to that. Hang out with the people that matter. Three of Cups energy. It's your posse. It's your support group. You also is your higher spiritual posse too that comes in. Um, you know, um, So I do like that that energy for you because that I feel like they'll make themselves known to you too. A lot of signs, synchronicities, more towards the end of the week too. Um, like on Friday the 3rd, October 3rd, because that 3 is really standing out. So I feel like that's where they're coming in there. So hopefully that helps, Swaroop. That's what they have there for you. All right. I like that here. All right. And then you said the last question from Katie is, who would you be without the thoughts? Oh, thank you. I was like, so Byron Katie. Oh, who would you be without those thoughts? Right. I love that. How much we give the power to the thoughts. Yeah, it just really helps, right? I love that, Byron Katie. If you guys want to check out her YouTube channel or her, this was earlier for Olivier's reading, thework.com, just TheWork.com, such a great tool to be able to see things differently. But yeah, the power of the thoughts, right? Because suddenly when I don't believe something and I allow it kind of puts you in this space of my thought is over here. So I'm not that thought. I'm the observer of the thought. And it also shows me that I can detach from a thought. Very empowering. I mean, there's just so much about it. I could blah, blah, blah for hours on it, I'm sure. So thank you for pointing that out. All right. So, everybody, before I head out here, just want to make sure everyone knows I do have a giveaway going on. If you haven't checked it out yet, I introduced my new podcast series, The Easier Path, which the first episode will hopefully be coming out next week. Um, but if you go watch the introduction and like it, if you would, just give me a little thumbs up on that. It helps spread the Zen love. Just comment on there something that you're grateful for now or in your something that you're grateful for that happened in your life. And I'll have a drawing. Oh my gosh, that's next Wednesday, I think, October 1st. And I'll be giving away at least one winner, depending on how many people participate. And then also I have a special going on here. Oh, and that's for the winner is for personal recorded reading and or a hedge of peace and love if you prefer that. Also, I have my personal readings, my 15-minute on sale for $7.77 all the way from now until the end of October. Not end of September, the end of October after Halloween. And then my 30-minute for 15.15. So if you're interested, all this information is down in the description box of the video. And or you can click on that link down there too. So I think that's everything. Yeah. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to go eat. I'll be back here in a few hours from 6 to 9 p.m., or at least starting at 6 p.m. Mountain Time this evening, and then back tomorrow, too, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So until I see you guys again, thank you for being here. I'm so grateful for you. And remember, every second of every day of your life, you truly are eternally and unconditionally loved by the Mother and the Father of all things, our Creator. And of course, I love you too. So until I see you again, hang in there. Of course, take care of yourselves. Remember, have some fun. Because why are we being so serious? It's a playground. Let's go play. All right. I love you guys. We'll see you soon.